Chapter 90. Chow Xiao couldn't believe it. AI, think about it carefully. We're still in the space and I'll be out in a while. How can I be your master? Master, you don't have to worry about this. You just need to create a small space for me in your mind and I'll stay there. You're saying you want to live in my mind. Chow Xiao thought about this horrifying scene. How can I do that? Aren't you aware of my every word and action? And then you can take me with you. If you have any accessories, like a jade pendant, I'll hide in there. Chow Xiao thought about this scene and the fact that he had to take someone with him. He was still a bit scared. Why do you want to follow me? Well, I want to read more books. You know that I'm the soul of books. I've already read all the books in the library. I need new knowledge and you have the best memory I've ever seen. If I follow you, I'll have unlimited books to read. Moreover, I've been too lonely for so many years. When I saw you, I felt that I was fated to be with you. Please take me with you. Kong Ming said this with sincerity, but Chow Xiao felt that he was like a piece of dog skin plaster. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't tear it off. He had a headache. I can't even protect myself right now. What's the benefit of you following me? Don't worry. With me here, I'll definitely help you find what you want. You want to cultivate magic to make yourself stronger, right? That's easy. Although we don't have any related books here, my nose is the most sensitive. If there's a book like this, I'll be the first to find it. So his zodiac was dog. What if I don't take you with me? Kong Ming acted as if the sky was falling down. He said with a sad face, if you don't take me with you, this space will always exist. I only know how to let you in, but I don't know how to get out. You. Teeth grinding. You idiot, you only know how to dig holes. You don't know how to fill them. Master, please take me with you. I beg you. Kong Ming grabbed onto Chow Xiao's clothes and began to act coquettishly. Chow Xiao suddenly felt like he was acting coquettishly in front of Yanran. He gritted his teeth and asked, You really don't know how to send me out? Kong Ming nodded with an aggrieved expression. Chow Xiao searched his body for a long time and only found a necklace around his neck. This was the necklace he took when he went out this morning. Why don't you stay in this necklace for now? I'll find a better place for you when we get back. Kong Ming was so happy that he started to spin in circles. Chow Xiao looked at him and couldn't help but laugh. This was simply a bookworm who had been here for tens of thousands of years. He had been crazy about books all his life. Forget it, let's bring him along. Master, there's one more thing that I need to remind you of. Kong Ming lowered his head and didn't dare to speak. Say it. What else do you want to say? It's like this. If I go with you, all the ancient books in this area will disappear because I will take them all with me into your necklace. Kong Ming's voice became softer and softer. Chow Xiao suddenly reacted, You mean you will destroy the library on this floor? Kong Ming nodded embarrassedly. Are you here to help me or to harm me? If this floor is destroyed, can I still get out? Won't the school send people to catch me? Chow Xiao was a little crazy. This bookworm only cared about him. That's why I said I need to remind you of something. Kong Ming whispered again. Chow Xiao was furious with this bookworm. Then what should we do? The camera in the library must have caught me on this floor. If we go out, this floor will collapse. It will be on the headlines today. At this time, Kong Ming lowered his head like a child who had done something wrong. Master, please don't blame me. I didn't want to do this. Chow Xiao walked up to him and knocked his head twice. You can't do anything right, but you're good at spoiling things. Kong Ming held his head and whined, You can't hit a man's head. You are a bookworm. You even know your own gender. You are really smart. Hey, I'm a man. It's written in the book. Kong Ming giggled. Seeing Kong Ming smile, Chow Xiao didn't stop him. He sat down at the table and began to think of a solution. Senior Yen, you have to control Yanran. I was hurt by her just now. Director Fong was so angry that he called Senior Yen directly. What happened? Old Fong. Senior Yen was very cautious when he saw Yen Ran was involved. I don't know where she found out that I did it to Xiao Xiao. She came to me directly and warned me that if I dared to do it again, she wouldn't be polite and I would be responsible for the consequences. Senior Yen, I was working for you. Now I was insulted for no reason. I don't even know how to explain it to you. Director Fong felt wronged. Senior Yen had a headache. Director Fong's identity couldn't be exposed, so he couldn't tell the truth to Yen Ran. Then what identity did Yen Ran use to warn you? Of course she warned me in the name of the guardian of the human world. I guess she must have thought that Xiao Xiao didn't have any evil qi anymore, so he was the one she wanted to protect. And I was a master who came out of nowhere. Alas, why is it so stupid? Senior Yen also felt the same. How did you give yourself away? How could they know it was you? That's why I feel strange. It's impossible for them to know it was me. Is there a mole among us? Sure enough, a message came from Yen Ran. Grandpa, a master of Zishuan suddenly appeared in our territory. I have located him. I will continue to follow him in the future, in case he does something harmful to humans again. That's enough, Bureau Chief Fong. You can only admit defeat this time. I don't know how you were exposed. Yen Ran already has her eyes on you, so you'd better behave. Your identity can't be exposed. You have done a lot of things before that can't be investigated. You have to know it in your heart. Senior Yen couldn't help raising his voice at the end and warned. Director Fong had no choice but to swallow the bitterness. He had done a lot of dirty things for Senior Yen before, so he was hidden in the dark. Since he had chosen this road of no return, many things couldn't be put in the light. As a result, he could only live in the shadows. Senior Yen felt that his tone might be a bit harsh, and then softened. You said your daughter's job problem last time. I will find a way to arrange a satisfactory job for her. During this time, you stay at home and don't attract Yen Ran's attention. Alas, it was Senior Yan's usual style to give a carrot after a stick. After all, that was his granddaughter, his favorite. He would never stand on the side of an outsider. Director Fong was depressed. He hung up the phone and looked at his grandson who was running around in the living room. He didn't even have the mood to play with him. But when he thought about it, no matter what, his daughter's job problem was solved. Although he was the director of the District Education Bureau, the country was very strict now. There was no way to arrange for them to go anywhere. Because of this, his daughter had complained to him several times. What a useless father. Director Fong knew that the southern aristocratic families had a way. They had a place in the whole national system. The national security needed their help. Of course, there were some exchanges of interests. It was a small matter to arrange an individual. The arm couldn't twist the leg. If it weren't for Yen Ran, he wouldn't have let it go. After all, she was Senior Yan's granddaughter. He could only pinch his nose and swallow his anger. Xiao Xiao and Kong Ming stared at each other. A pot of wine had been emptied. Both of them were a little drunk. Xiao Xiao had drunk wine for the first time. He was more drunk than Kong Ming. Now he was a little dizzy. Kong Ming had become two people in front of him. Kong Ming, you only have wine. You didn't even order any dishes. Is this how you treat your master? Xiao Xiao's tongue had begun to roll. Also, where did you get this wine from? There is a house of gold in the book. There is a beautiful woman in the book. Why is there wine in the book? Of course. I can change anything in the book. Even if you want to change into a beautiful woman, I can do it for you. But you can only see it and can't touch it. It's just an illusion. I can only change inanimate things. I can't change them into living things. That tree just now was also a fake tree. Ha 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 ha. You didn't see it, did you? Kong Ming rarely fooled Xiao Xiao. He was very proud. After all, you are just a flower. No wonder you can only drag me in and can't send me out. Tell me the truth. Did you drag these things in too? I'm not that good. Then what else can you do? Drag another person in and see. I want to, but in this library, You are the only one I have seen reading seriously. Chow Chow suddenly had an idea. Since you can stretch your hand out to grab me, can you stretch your hand out to send me a message? How do I send a message? I type a message on my phone. You put my phone out of the space and click send. That's easy. But what is it for? Chow Chow jumped up and hit his head again. It's all your fault. I have to find someone to help us. Otherwise, we will be locked up here for the rest of our lives. What else can we do? We can only get out if we destroy this floor. What else can we do? What's the use of finding someone? Stop talking nonsense. Chow Chow is already a little impatient from waiting. Hurry up and do as I say. Chow Chow wrote a very long message and told Yen Ran the whole story. Then he told her that he was waiting for her on the 6th floor of the library. Finally, he added, I am in a certain space. You can't see me. Come quickly. I will starve to death if you don't come. Chow Chow took it for granted that Yen Ran could solve the problem that he couldn't solve. But he didn't expect that this problem also stumped Yen Ran. Chapter 91. Yen Ran looked at the WeChat message on her phone and thought that Chow Chow was joking with her. Chow Chow said to her, I was reading on the 6th floor of Nanchuan University's library when I was dragged into the space by a soul. Now I can't get out no matter what. If I want to get out, the entire 6th floor of the library will be destroyed by me. Yen Ran, save me. Yen Ran threw her phone aside because she was busy with another matter, which was to write a report. She wanted to file a complete report on the incident of Director Fong casually injuring people. Chow Chow and Kong Ming drank until they were dizzy and fell asleep. Chow Zhao's delicate body couldn't stand sleeping on the ground. He directly ordered Kong Ming, make 2 more beds. I want to sleep for a while. Kong Ming was also drunk. He conjured 2 beds, and the 2 of them began to sleep soundly. When Yen Ran remembered her phone again, it was already the next morning. When she arrived at school, she found that Chow Chow didn't come to class. She called Uncle Wu and found that Chow Chow was missing. Yesterday, when Lu Hui went to the library to deliver food to Chow Chow, he couldn't find him and couldn't get through to his phone. At first, Lu Hui thought that Chow Chow had left. He called Uncle Wu to confirm, but there was no one at home. Lu Hui was anxious and looked all over the school, but there was no trace of him. He wanted to apply for the surveillance camera directly, but the teacher was off work, so he could only wait for the next day. Yen Ran knew that Chow Chow wasn't joking with her. However, if what he said was true, then at least Chow Zhao's life wasn't in danger. He was just trapped. This was the first time Yen Ran encountered such a situation. She comforted Lu Hui and Uncle Wu and told them that she would think of a way. Yen Ran didn't have any good ideas. If what Chow Chow said was true, then it would be useless for her to go there rashly. She thought for a long time. Since she couldn't get through to him on the phone, why could she send him a WeChat message? Yen Ran sent a WeChat message to Chow Chow to ask about his current situation. Because the 2 people in the space were drunk, they had just woken up in the morning. Chow Chow looked at the space that she couldn't forget. She grabbed her hair and pulled Kong Ming up, check if there's a reply on my phone. Kong Ming was still in a daze. He looked at the phone in his hand and didn't come back to his senses for a long time. Chow Chow made a slow motion of extending the phone. Kong Ming's eyes followed the motion for a long time before he understood. You want me to extend the phone again? Chow Chow slapped Kong Ming's head. I said you're a bookworm, but you still don't admit it. Hurry up, I still have to go to school today. Kong Ming finally woke up and stretched his hand out for a while. When he took it back, he found dozens of missed calls and messages. Chow Chow wasn't in a hurry to look at the others' messages. He only looked at Yen Ran's messages seriously. Why did she only reply in the morning? What did she do last night? He hurriedly repeated himself and asked Yen Ran to hurry and save him. Back and forth like this, the 2 of them talked for a long time before they finally understood the situation. In the end, Chow Chow didn't have time to type and directly sent a voice message. He talked a lot and then scolded Kong Ming. He asked Yenran to find a way to get him out in one piece. Who is this person? Is he so capable? He can get both of us out of here? Kong Ming was also interested. Of course, this is my goddess. She'll be coming to pick me up in a while on a rainbow cloud. Xiao Xiao was full of admiration for Yenran. Yenran, on the other hand, was gnashing her teeth. This damn Xiao Xiao, how did he get himself into so much trouble? What should she do? In the end, Yenran replied to Xiao Xiao's WeChat message. This matter isn't so easy to solve. Don't worry and cultivate inside. I'll get you out after a while. Xiao Xiao was dumbfounded. He looked at Kong Ming. Was he going to eat and live with this square-faced guy? Hey, what else can you conjure up? How about 3 meals a day and a shower? Isn't your goddess coming to pick you up soon? Why is she staying with me for a long time? Kong Ming was a little surprised. Xiao Xiao gritted his teeth and said, My goddess is thinking of a way. She'll be here one day. Kong Ming jumped back far away. Don't be angry. I'll think of a way. This bookworm struggled for a long time. Xiao Xiao finally found out that a shower could be conjured, but there was no water. Food could also be conjured, but it couldn't be eaten. No matter how hard Xiao Xiao tried to beat up Kong Ming, it was useless. Thinking about how he still had to stay here miserably, he could only follow Yenran's words and cultivate obediently. Yenran pacified Xiao Xiao for the time being. She went to Nanchuan University's library and looked carefully from the outside to the inside structure. She couldn't find a solution no matter how hard she looked. Then she went to find Uncle Wu. Uncle Wu thought that the young master had returned and happily opened the door. He didn't expect to see Yenran standing outside. However, he was also very happy. Miss Yenran was his favorite girl. He hurriedly welcomed Yenran in and made her the most expensive tea. Uncle Wu, I heard that you donated a library to our school. Is that so? Speaking of this, Uncle Wu was a little embarrassed. At that time, the young master's grades weren't very good. In order to let him enter this key high school, I spent some money on him. Then Uncle Wu, are you interested in donating another library? Why? Why do you want to donate again? Uncle Wu stood up in surprise. Xiao Xiao was in trouble now. He was locked in a space in the library on the 6th floor. When Uncle Wu heard that Xiao Xiao was in trouble again, he immediately became nervous. He can't get out? Is he trapped? Yes. If he wants to get out now, the entire 6th floor of the library will be destroyed. When Uncle Wu heard this explosive news, he still couldn't come back to his senses. Miss Yenran, what do you mean? Uncle Wu had some guesses. You're saying that if Xiao Xiao destroys the library, I'll donate another one to him? This is the worst plan. I hope that you can donate a library first and take the initiative. Then you can buy all the books on the 6th floor. If you want to buy books, you can directly apply to the school to buy them. Why do you want to donate a library? Because the books on the 6th floor are all ancient books. Many of them are probably the only copies on the market. The school won't sell them for sure. Oh, I understand. Miss Yenran, you're saying that if I donate a library first, then ask the school to buy all the books on the 6th floor. Then they won't be able to refuse. Miss Yenran, you're too smart. This is the only way I can think of to solve this problem right now. This is the only way to save Xiao Xiao without any harm. But if Uncle Wu's finances are tight, then we won't be able to do it. It's fine, it's fine. Don't worry about the money. I'll think of something. The key is to make sure that the young master can come back safely. After the discussion was completed, Uncle Wu began to prepare all the necessary procedures. Yenran, on the other hand, went to Professor He's home again. Of course, she didn't tell Uncle Wu as much as she did. She only asked for his help. Xiao Zhao's family wanted to donate a library to the school and hoped that Professor He could help mediate the situation. Yenran, actually, Xiao Xiao doesn't need to donate a library at all. He's my last student and wants to attend Nanchuan University. I've reserved a spot for him a long time ago. You're mistaken, Professor He. This is a token of Qiao Zhao's family's sincerity. It's a small amount of wealth passed down from their ancestors, so they want to do something for it. Professor He was very happy. He didn't expect Qiao Xiao to have such a background. He immediately agreed and would help facilitate this. Yen Ran came out of Professor He's home. She raised her head to look at the sky and rubbed her nose and cheeks. This was the second time she had lied for Qiao Zhao's sake. Qiao Xiao and Kong Ming had already been in the S.P.A.C.E. for more than 10 days. Qiao Xiao had thought he would starve to death for sure, but the S.P.A.C.E. was miraculous. As long as he entered a state of cultivation, he would not feel hungry at all. Since Yen Ran wanted him to cultivate in peace, the only thing he needed to do now was cultivate in peace. Coincidentally, there was a calligraphy addict next to him. The two of them discussed cultivation as they cultivated, so the days were not too tiring. Qiao Xiao finally realized that Kong Ming was a gem. He had read far more ancient books than Qiao Xiao had. The books in his head finally had room for understanding. The little tadpoles jumped around excitedly. They took out all the knowledge that had been stored in each room and broke it up, kneaded it, and turned it into a new dough. They polished off all the burrs on the surface and rolled it around in Qiao Zhao's head like a smooth ball. Qiao Xiao felt like his body didn't belong to him. He could clearly feel his meridians clearing little by little, but his soul felt like it was drifting outside his body. He could only control his spiritual power to clear the invisible barrier bit by bit. Qiao Xiao had profited from his misfortune during this period of time. He learned how to better utilize his demonic aura and how to use his spiritual pressure. Before he knew it, he had achieved breakthroughs in both the world's #1 spiritual spell and the spirit concealment spell. A set of golden light lit up in the air and scattered around him. Kong Ming was dumbfounded as he looked at Qiao Xiao, who was shrouded in golden light. He was like a son of heaven. His finely sculpted facial features reflected a faint golden light in the entire space. He was as noble as a god. When Qiao Xiao opened his eyes, he saw Kong Ming staring at him in a daze. He muttered to himself, "This is 2F** king eye-catching." PFFF. Kong Ming had learned this sentence from Qiao Xiao in the past 2 days. He didn't expect to use it here. Qiao Xiao smiled at Kong Ming. "Don't fall in love with me. I'm a man. Love doesn't discriminate between genders." The bookworm was still speaking with conviction. "Okay, what else have you not told me about cultivation?" "This time, I'm going to give Yen Ran a different me. You keep talking about Yen Ran." "Yen Ran? What kind of person is she?" Kong Ming couldn't help but ask curiously. "She is the most beautiful woman in the world. She is also the person I admire the most. If I am in trouble, she will definitely come to save me." As Qiao Xiao spoke, the corners of his mouth couldn't help but rise. "What kind of personality is she? Tell me about it." "She is very cold and doesn't like to talk to people. However, I know that a beauty like her looks cold on the surface, but her heart is as hot as a ball of fire." "You like her so much. Does that mean she likes you too?" These words were like ticklish powder sprinkled into Qiao Zhao's heart. His heart was itching to know. "I think she likes me. Otherwise, why would she always come to save me?" After saying this, Qiao Xiao decided that when he went out, he would definitely ask Yen Ran. He didn't want to end up as a one-sided love. Chapter 92. A few days later, more than a dozen moving company cars finally arrived outside the library on the 6th floor of Nanchuan University. Under the guidance of the school teacher, a group of people went straight to the 6th floor. They brought hundreds of cardboard boxes with them, each of which was about 1 cubic meter in size. Then they lined them up in a row in the open space of the 6th floor. The librarian said to them, "Be careful, don't break the books." Then, the books were all put into the boxes one by one. Qiao Xiao and Kong Ming had already sensed the movement in the library. "No, they seem to want to move us away." "Move to where?" "Yen Ran hasn't come yet." Qiao Xiao couldn't see the situation outside and was a little anxious. They are packing all the books into boxes. It seems that they are going to take them away. All the books are going to be taken away. What about you? What about this space? The books are all gone, so the space must go with them. Chow Chow thought about it and figured out the key point. He slapped his thigh and laughed. I knew Yen Ran would have a way. She must be going to move all the books on the 6th floor to another place. Then we can go out. It doesn't matter if they are destroyed. I must reward her when we get out. Sure enough, the books on each shelf were carefully packed into boxes from top to bottom. The collection of books in the library was really interesting. More than a dozen boxes were all filled, and the whole team drove in a certain direction. Kong Ming and Xiao Xiao followed the books in the space and finally left the library where they had stayed for more than 10 days. More than a dozen cars drove to the suburbs of Nanchuan, where Xiao Xiao's house was located. The environment was beautiful, surrounded by all kinds of vegetation, and it was very quiet. After the workers put all the boxes in the yard of the villa, Uncle Wu sent them back. Uncle, do you really not need us to help you carry them upstairs? No, the books are old. I have to put them in the yard to dry first. All right, then we'll be leaving first. Be careful, Elder. The workers took the generous service fee and left with smiles on their faces. Uncle Wu's face couldn't help but sink. Come out. With a boom, the entire courtyard shook 3 times. The flowers and trees in the courtyard were destroyed by the impact, and the entire courtyard became a ruin. Fortunately, Uncle Wu was standing far away, but at this time, he was also hit by the impact. Then, a carefree and unruly young man stood in the midst of the mess. His exquisite face revealed the most enchanting smile. His arms were spread to both sides, and a beautiful necklace on his neck shone under the sunlight. The young man was stunned. Why was it different from what he had expected? He put on what he thought was his most handsome pose and smile. Why wasn't Yen Ran waiting for him here? He had even thought of giving her a big hug and praising her for being smart. Then, the young man realized that Uncle Wu had been knocked against the wall. The surroundings were like a battlefield. He rubbed his nose. He really didn't want to admit that he had done it. It was all that damned Kong Ming's fault. He quickly rushed over. Uncle Wu, are you okay? Uncle Wu was rarely cold to him. I'm fine, but you're not. Think about how you're going to be punished. Uncle Wu, you can't blame me for this. I'm also very innocent. It's all that Kong Ming's fault. Chow Xiao followed Uncle Wu into the house. You know, in order to save you, I donated another building. Chow Xiao rubbed his nose. He didn't expect that there would be such twists and turns. He could only smile mischievously. Uncle Wu, money is just a worldly possession. Our family has a lot of money. Just treat it as a charity. Miss Yen Ran has been busy for you again. I don't know what to say to you. Let's see how you will repay the favor you owe her. Uncle Wu said and ignored Chow Xiao. Chow Xiao had no other choice at this time. He smelled his armpits and turned his head away with a frown. It was really unbearable for him to not take a shower for so many days. He had to clean himself first. That afternoon, the afterglow of the setting sun slowly filled the whole sky. The small park seemed to be covered with a layer of red veil. It was hazy, making people unable to see clearly. The nanny took Director Fong's grandson to say hello to several companions and prepared to go home. The little grandson had a lot of fun today. Now he was a little tired. The nanny had already let him sit in the pram. The nanny saw some food residue at the corner of his mouth and took out a handkerchief to wipe it for him. Nowadays, people used paper napkins, but the nanny still felt that handkerchiefs were more convenient and save money. When the sky was about to turn dark, the nanny pushed the child to a corner next to the woods. There was no one in front or behind. This was the path she walked every day. She couldn't be more familiar with it. It was the same today. She lowered her head and looked at Xiao Bao in the pram. The little guy was being pushed in the pram and had begun to feel sleepy. She put the cover of the pram over Xiao Bao's head. But just as she lowered her head, the nanny felt dizzy and fell to the ground. After a while, Xiao Bao disappeared from the pram, leaving only the pram parked alone at the corner. Director Fong got off work a little late today. When he reached home, he didn't see the nanny with his grandson. He guessed that they played late today. He might as well go and pick them up himself. He went downstairs and walked out of the neighborhood, heading to the park next to it. Before he walked into the park, he saw a group of people huddled together in front of him under the dim light. Isn't this Xiao Bao's nanny? Why did she faint here? Where did Xiao Bao go? I know her. She comes to the park every day. She's Xiao Bao's nanny. Call an ambulance. Director Fong didn't care at first. He wanted to walk directly through the crowd, but suddenly he caught a glimpse of the pram parked in the crowd. It seemed to be exactly the same as his. He turned around abruptly and pushed through the crowd. Director Fong, it's great that you're here. Your nanny fainted. When the crowd saw Director Fong, they all let out a long sigh of relief. My grandson? Where is my grandson? Director Fong found something wrong as soon as he got closer. Why was his Xiao Bao missing? I didn't see Xiao Bao. I only saw your nanny fainted here. Xiao Bao is missing. Could it be that Xiao Bao was taken away by bad people? No, it's very safe here. The child has never been lost. Did he run off to play somewhere else? Everyone, help look for him. When Director Fong heard that, it seemed that his Xiao Bao was lost. His head buzzed. Finding the child was the most important thing now. Help me first. Send my nanny to the hospital. Let's hurry and find the child. Director Fong was also anxious. He searched the entire park with everyone. However, after searching around until the sky was completely dark, they still couldn't find Xiao Bao. The circle of friends looking for Xiao Bao had expanded to the whole city. Bus lines, taxis, and the surrounding supermarkets and shopping malls all broadcast search notices. However, they still couldn't find him until late at night. Because the park was spacious, there were only a few places with cameras. The place where the nanny fainted was unfortunately not within the range of the cameras. Director Fong's family was so anxious that they couldn't sleep all night. Could it be that they were really so unlucky as to encounter human traffickers? Dad, what do you think we should do? How will Xiao Bao spend the night? Will the human traffickers abuse him? Director Fong's daughter had already begun to let her imagination run wild. She hysterically shouted at home. Director Fong's head hurt from his daughter's shouting. He was no less worried than his mother. This was his most beloved grandson. If something happened to this grandson, Director Fong simply didn't dare to imagine. After a night of anxious waiting and the whole city searching, there was finally news. Early the next morning, the phone rang at home. Director Fong, we found a child's body in the pond in the park. We want to ask you to come and identify it. The phone slipped from his hand and fell to the ground. Director Fong felt dizzy and fell onto the sofa. Dad, what's wrong? Director Fong, who hadn't slept all night, was hit by the news and couldn't breathe. He looked at his daughter's haggard face. His mouth opened, but he didn't know what to say. Dad, tell me quickly. What's going on? Is there any news? His daughter anxiously grabbed his shoulders with both hands and shook them desperately. The police called and said that a child's body was found in the pond. They want us to go and identify it. His daughter heard this sentence and was dumbfounded. Dad, what did you say? You're not scaring me, are you? Director Fong reacted. Daughter, don't worry. It's not necessarily the case. They just want us to go and identify it. Hurry up and pack up. We'll go and take a look first. It's definitely not the case. His daughter suddenly shouted, Pack up? Xiao Bao is gone. How can I be in the mood to pack up? Director Fong had to go along with his daughter. Okay. Don't worry. We'll go right away. Director Fong's family came to the pond in the park with great fear. Before they got close, they could already see that it was their Xiao Bao. He was wearing the same clothes he wore yesterday. Xiaobao's mother rushed over and began to cry heartbreakingly. Director Fong also felt that the sky was falling. How could this be? The police said to Director Fong with a heavy heart, the child should have accidentally fallen from the bridge next to the pond. Because the child is still too young, the gap on the railing is wider. The police couldn't go on. Director Fong couldn't listen anymore. He couldn't accept this at all. He took a step back and fell to the ground. His family members behind him were shocked. They rushed over and wanted to help Director Fong up, but they didn't expect that Director Fong's eyes would roll over and he would faint. Call an ambulance. Director Fong fainted. The scene was chaotic. The child's body hadn't been dealt with yet, and the pillar of the family had fallen. The child's mother and grandmother were so sad that they couldn't do anything. Everything could only be pushed onto Xiaobao's father. This man was also crushed by this sudden blow. The burden of the whole family was like a mountain pounding on his back. But looking at the old and young in his family, and his wife's completely lost eyes, he could only grit his teeth and carry everything on his shoulders with red eyes. Chapter 93. Today, a child's body was found in a certain park in this city. After investigation, it was found that the child fell into the water. He was 4 years old. Please take care of your children. Minors have a weaker sense of self-protection. They must be accompanied by their family members before they can go near the water. The news kept reporting, and the people watching the news kept their eyes glued to the screen, unwilling to look away for a long time. He suddenly picked up the bowl in front of him and threw it at the TV. The bowl was smashed into pieces and fell to the ground, but the TV was not damaged at all. It was still broadcasting the news about the child who fell into the water. Then, he picked up the chopsticks and spoons on the table. Whatever he could grab, he threw at the TV one by one. Finally, under his continuous efforts, he didn't know which shard hit the power supply, but the TV finally stopped ringing. Huagang, what are you doing in the room? Why is it ringing non-stop? His mother's voice came from the kitchen. Only then did Huagang wake up from his emotions. He replied in a hoarse voice, "Mom, I'm fine." The bowl fell to the ground and broke. Be careful. I heard that it was quite loud. Don't hurt your hand. His mother's voice came, adding to Huagang's irritation. The scene of the child falling into the water kept appearing in his mind. He really didn't do it on purpose. He didn't want to kill him. He just wanted to scare him, leave some scars on his body, and tell him that it was Xiao Xiao who came to scare him. That way, he could go back and tell his grandpa, and his grandpa would know. He just wanted to provoke the conflict between Director Fong and Xiao Xiao, but he didn't expect the child to be so easily scared. He slipped and fell directly into the pond. When the child fell, the fear in his eyes kept magnifying in front of Huagang's eyes. This touched the last bit of kindness in Huagang's heart. Just a little. What he really hated was that his plan didn't succeed. He accidentally killed a person and didn't achieve his goal. Now that he was dead, who could tell his grandfather that it was Xiao Xiao who did it? He waited in the park for many days and finally found an opportunity when there was no one around. He avoided all the cameras and followed the nanny. When she was not paying attention, he cast a spell and knocked her out. Everything went smoothly, and he successfully carried the child. After venting his anger, Huagang finally calmed down. What he needed to do now was to make use of this child. The child could not die in vain. His death had to be worth it. The black elements in Huagang's blood began to surge violently. The sight of death seemed to make him even more excited. The joy of bloodthirst filled his brain. He suddenly felt that his previous plan was too low. Now, by accident, it was even more perfect and advanced. He picked up a piece of broken bowl from the ground and rubbed it in his hand. Soon, his entire palm became a bloody mess, but he didn't seem to feel any pain. Instead, this kind of stimulation made his mind reach a climax. He threw away the broken bowl and used his tongue to lick his palm clean bit by bit. The smell of blood was really too fragrant. Xiaobao's funeral was arranged very quickly. He was buried 3 days later. The funeral music played at the scene. Xiaobao's mother looked at the picture of her child on the tombstone and couldn't bear it. When the child's father was not paying attention, she hit the tombstone. Her head was broken and bleeding on the spot, and she fainted. Director Fong was the same. He cried at the scene. He had never lost his self-control like this, especially in front of so many people. But at this moment, his precious grandson left him because of an accident. It was really an unexpected ending. He could no longer control his emotions and was so sad that he couldn't control himself. After the funeral, Director Fong returned home like a soulless puppet. He sat on the sofa and looked at the picture of Xiaobao on the bedside, tears falling silently. He was not a person who accepted his fate. He felt that this matter was very strange. Why did the nanny suddenly faint? The nanny had been in their house for 2 years. She had always been in good health. He had never heard of her suddenly fainting. And after the nanny woke up, she said that Xiaobao was sitting in the car. Why did Xiaobao get out of the car alone after the nanny fainted? The police also felt a little suspicious, but they didn't have any clues. They could only tell from the footprints left at the scene that Xiaobao slipped from the bridge into the pond. There were no traces of him being pushed. Director Fong walked back and forth many times from the time the nanny fainted to the bridge. This section of the road had to turn several corners, and the distance was still a little far. As a child who was almost 4 years old, it was not easy to smoothly walk to the bridge without being discovered by others. He had been thinking about his grandson, but he couldn't figure out why this child would take this road. This road was so winding. Xiaobao's thinking should be very straightforward. Why did he take several turns to walk to the bridge? Although Director Fong had no evidence, he guessed that someone must have made the nanny faint and then brought his grandson to the bridge. Everything had a purpose. If it was just to harm a child, there was no need to make such a big fuss. Then what was his purpose? He hadn't slept for several days and nights. His eyes were bloodshot. As soon as he closed his eyes, he saw the tragic death of his child. His family was in a mess. It could be said that his family was broken up. Countless people came to see him and asked him to restrain his grief. But what he thought was that to avenge his grandson, he must catch the murderer. He recalled what had happened recently. The only thing that made him break the rules was Qiao Zhao's case. The seed of doubt was planted in Director Fong's heart, and it kept growing. Could it be that Qiao Zhao was really a person with evil spirit? When he found out that he was the one who did it, he came to take revenge on his family. He thought of Yanran again. Yanran had warned him. He had never dared to think in this direction. Yanran was Elder Yan's granddaughter, the granddaughter of his boss. She wouldn't do such a thing to harm his grandson. No matter what, they were all cultivators. There was a deep sense of powerlessness wrapped around him. Like a hemp rope, it was hard to strangle his heart, and it was already bleeding. He swore in his heart, "Elder Yan, if this was really done by your granddaughter, don't blame me for being your superior and subordinate for many years." Director Fong made a prompt decision. He disguised himself and went to Yanran and Qiao Zhao's school. He waited for several days, but Qiao Zhao didn't come. Yanran was there every day. He squatted at the school gate every day, but he didn't expect that the mantis stalked the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. And that oriole was Huagang. He had been following Director Fong's movements. He knew that Director Fong must have doubts in his heart. But coincidentally, Qiao Zhao really wasn't at school during this time. He didn't know where he went. This really gave Huagang an excellent opportunity. Director Fong waited for 2 days, but didn't see him. Suddenly, 2 people walked by him and talked about Qiao Zhao. "I heard that Qiao Zhao hasn't been here for a long time. Do you know where he went?" "I don't know. There hasn't been an update on Chieba for many days." "Do you think something happened to him?" "I don't think so. His kung fu is so good." Last time on Chieba, it said that Boss Huang was beaten to the ground by him. "Hello, students. I'm a relative of Qiao Zhao's family. I'm from out of town. He hasn't been home for the past few days. I'd like to ask you for a favor. Can you help me call him out of school?" Bureau Chief Fong stepped forward and stopped the 2 of them. "We don't know. He hasn't been at school these days. Uncle, are you looking for Xiao Xiao? I'm his classmate. He hasn't been at school these days. May I ask what's the matter? I can help you pass on the message. Huagang greeted from the side with a face full of enthusiasm. Director Feng saw that Xiao Xiao's classmate had come. He was worried that he wouldn't be able to get any information. Hello, classmate. I want to ask, when was Xiao Xiao absent? 5 days ago, Xiao Xiao said that he had something to do. Then, he didn't come to school. Director Feng calculated that it was the day his grandson was killed. Then do you know what he was doing that day? I don't know about that, but I met him on the road at night. I felt that he was in a panic. I don't know what happened. Do you need something? If I see him, I'll pass on the message. Oh, it's nothing. I just want to ask about his situation. I'll go to his house and wait for him. When Director Feng turned to leave, he suddenly saw a handkerchief sticking out from Hua Gang's pocket. Director Feng felt like he was struck by lightning because he couldn't be more familiar with this handkerchief. The other children all used napkins, but only their family's Xiao Bao used a handkerchief. Because the nanny was thrifty, she felt that using napkins was too wasteful, so she specially bought a handkerchief for her. Director Feng couldn't hold back anymore. He went forward and took the handkerchief from Hua Gang's pocket. He asked sternly, "Where did you get this?" Hua Gang seemed to be confused by the question. He was shocked. "Oh, this is the handkerchief that fell from Xiao Xiao when I met him that day. I've been keeping it, ready to find a chance to return it to him, but I haven't seen him. This should be Xiao Xiao's." Director Feng's hand holding the handkerchief began to tremble. Director Feng said word by word, "Can you give this handkerchief to me? I'll give it to him when I go to his house." "That's the best. You don't have to make another trip. I'll have to trouble you, uncle." Hua Gang's performance was reasonable and restrained. "No. Ma. Annoying." Director Feng turned around. His entire back was ramrod straight, and he walked stiffly back. Hua Gang looked at Director Feng's back as he staggered away. His back was already a little hunched, but his entire person seemed to be filled with hatred. Every step he took was extremely powerful, as if he wanted to stomp a hole in the ground. Hua Gang's eyes surged with monstrous waves. Ha ha, let the storm come more violently. He wanted these monstrous waves to overturn the sky. He wanted all the ships on the sea to sink to the bottom of the sea, never to rise again. Chapter 94. Xiao Xiao returned home after a few days. He found a bracelet and put Kong Ming in it. Finally, he could have a good sleep. He lay on the bed and felt the spiritual energy around him flowing into his body. This was the most comfortable moment for him. It was a habit he had formed since he was a child. After returning from the library, he was pleasantly surprised by a different change. The 7th level of Spirit Concealment spell was Meridian Convergence. In the space, he always thought that he had broken through to the 4th level. Unexpectedly, he found that he had reached the 7th level. Time in the space had slowed down. The speed of leveling up had also become faster. Ha 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 ha, this is great. The heavens are helping me. Now that he could use the devil energy freely, he was no longer afraid of those little ghosts bullying him. At this speed, I will soon reach the upper level. Xiao Xiao thought proudly. He called Yen Ran, but she didn't pick up. He could only give up and wait until he reached school tomorrow. Uncle Wu's voice sounded at the door. "Young master, please clean up the yard." Huh? Xiao Xiao completely forgot that he had destroyed the yard. Looking at Uncle Wu's cold eyes and no room for negotiation, Xiao Xiao had no choice. He really wanted to drag Kong Ming out of the bracelet and let him clean up. He had to clean up after Kong Ming's mess. It was really smelly. When he came to the yard, Xiao Xiao saw that the ground was in a mess. There wasn't even a place for him to stand. He had a headache. Forget it, he might as well take it all away. His family's villa was built at the foot of a mountain. Xiao Xiao could test the level of his devil energy. He pointed in the air and deftly changed the talisman. The air fluctuated and formed a small circle of faint golden light. The circle rippled like water and gradually expanded until it covered the entire courtyard. It was as if the courtyard was covered with a golden cover. Then, the garbage in the yard seemed to be pulled by a strong suction force and flew little by little into the golden lid. Seeing that all the garbage had entered the lid, Xiao Xiao shouted, "Go!" His hand wrapped the entire lid into a golden ball and flew towards the back of the mountain. After a long time, the lid fell to the ground with a bang. The tremor was so great that the ground shook 3 times. Uncle Wu rushed out of the room. Looking at the flat yard, he was surprised. "Young master, where did the things in the yard go?" Xiao Xiao was very proud. "Uncle Wu, my devil energy has improved. Look, I can already move the things to the back of the mountain." "You mean you threw the garbage to the back of the mountain?" "Yes, I'm smart. Look at how clean the courtyard is. We can redesign the courtyard and plant some more beautiful flowers and plants. I want them to be colorful." Before Xiao Xiao could finish, Uncle Wu slapped him on the forehead. "Haven't you learned about environmental protection? What should we do with the garbage in the back of the mountain?" After saying that, Uncle Wu had to pick up the phone and think of a way to find someone to carry the garbage. Xiao Xiao touched his nose. Did he do something wrong? Well, it seemed that he didn't consider the environment. But his devil energy had improved greatly, which was really something to be happy about. Every time Xiao Xiao returned to school after taking leave, his classmates would always find something different about him. "Brother Xiao, why do I find you more handsome? Your eyelashes seem to have grown longer." Zhong Deong lay next to his face and looked carefully. "Why can't I see a single pore? Is this human skin?" Xiao Xiao also felt a little different. When he looked in the mirror in the morning, his whole face was surrounded by collagen. His skin was tender, and his eyes were deeper. Could it be that the space had a beautifying function? It seemed that meeting Kong Ming this time was a blessing in disguise. Xiao Xiao grinned. "If I'm not handsome, how can I make you worship me?" "Brother Xiao, where did you go this time? Tell me about your adventure." Ma Xiaoxian also came up. "No adventure. I suddenly walked into a deep mountain forest and got lost. I wandered around the world for a few days before coming back," Xiao Xiao said jokingly. His 2 long legs were on the table, and the chair was swaying back and forth. It was so cool. "Is there a female ghost in the deep mountain forest?" Wang Jinyun was always mysterious. "Do you think this is Yen Liao Zhai?" "I didn't meet a female ghost, but I met a male Taoist priest who taught me cultivation." Xiao Xiao continued to talk nonsense. "Doujinshi is popular now. Did anything happen between you and him?" Ma Xiaoxian followed Xiao Zhao's words and continued. "He looks like the Chinese character of China. He's square and I can't eat him," Xiao Xiao said and laughed. While they were chatting, Yen Ran, dressed in her school uniform, walked in coldly from outside the door. Xiao Xiao quickly retracted his legs and took out a wrapped bracelet from his bag. He respectfully handed it to Yen Ran and gave her a 90-degree bow. "Yen Ran, thank you. You saved me from the fire again." "Don't thank me. Uncle Wu paid for it." Yen Ran didn't accept the gift and said coldly, "Don't cause trouble next time." The surrounding people widened their eyes. It seemed like something happened between Xiao Xiao and Yen Ran that they didn't know. "Sister Yen Ran, how did you save Brother Xiao?" Juchi couldn't help but ask curiously. "This is a secret between Yen Ran and me. Don't ask." "Come, Yen Ran, open the gift and see if you like it." Xiao Xiao only had eyes for Yen Ran. He didn't care about anyone else. "I don't want the gift. You can take it." Yen Ran directly refused. Usually, it was Xiao Xiao who received gifts. This was the first time he gave a gift to a girl. Xiao Xiao didn't want to be taken back. He simply opened the package and took out the bracelet. "Look, I also carved a name for you." Yen Ran looked carefully. It was a green bracelet. It should be made of jade and was very expensive. Large, round beads were neatly arranged one by one. What was more rare was that they were faintly exuding spiritual energy. Others couldn't see it, but Yenran recognized these antiques. They were probably treasures that Xiao Xiao brought from the Devil Realm. One of the beads was carved with the word Yen. This bracelet was priceless. What a playboy! You give away gifts like this. Did your family become poor because of you? How can that be? This is the first time I gave a girl a gift. Do you like it? I'll put it on for you. Xiao Xiao grabbed Yenran's wrist and put it on for her. Yenran wanted to take it off, but she didn't expect the bracelet to be like a part of her body. She couldn't take it off in a short time. Yenran couldn't help but be angry. Xiao Xiao, how can you force a deal? How can I force a deal? This is my sincerity. Take it and don't return it to me. Otherwise, I'll lose face. Brother Qiao, this bracelet is so beautiful. Zhang Deong said when he saw it. Juqi also liked it very much. Brother Qiao, if Sister Yenran doesn't want it, you can give it to me. Is this jade? Why is it so transparent? Zhang Jinyun also widened his eyes. This is just an ordinary bead made of glass. Don't make a fuss. It's not valuable. Yenran was still thinking of a way to take the bead off, but at this time, the bell rang. The teacher had already walked into the classroom. Soon, Xiao Zhao's WeChat message came. This bead is good for your cultivation. It's passed down in our family. Take it. You also saw that the bead recognizes its owner. He likes you and can't take it off. Thank you. Xiao Xiao, come with me for a moment. Before class ended, Miss Zhu took her books and was about to leave. Suddenly, she remembered something and called Xiao Xiao outside the classroom. After class, go to the principal's office. Principal Yi is looking for you. Okay, teacher. I'll go right away. Do you know what it is? Xiao Xiao replied respectfully. It seems like there's an activity for you to participate in. Just go. Brother Qiao, why is Principal Yi looking for you? Zhang Deong asked naively. How would I know? Miss Zhu didn't say anything. Could it be about you always taking leave? I heard the school say that you will be punished if you always take leave. Zhang Deong was a little worried. No, don't worry too much. Your brother Qiao, I won't be punished. After saying that, Xiao Xiao winked at Zhang Deong a few times. He slung his bag over his shoulder and went straight to the principal's office. Zhang Deong was stunned. He suddenly looked at Ma Xiaoxian. Brother Qiao is winking at me? Wow, I've been electrocuted. Wake up. Brother Qiao is winking. Didn't you notice that his eyes are like magic? They always want to suck you in? I didn't have time to look carefully. Take a good look next time. Brother Qiao has really changed since he came back this time. His eyes are so deep that they have formed a black hole. How charming! Zhang Deong held his little heart and sighed with emotion. I think you've been poisoned by Brother Qiao. Wake up. Ma Xiaoxian directly punched him in the chest. Yenran heard their laughter and looked at the bracelet on her hand. Did Xiao Xiao become more handsome again? She didn't look carefully just now. Principal Yi, you're looking for me? I'm Xiao Xiao. Xiao Xiao, I know you. Come in and don't be shy. Principal Yi smiled and asked Xiao Xiao to sit down. He even handed him a bottle of mineral water. The main reason I asked you to come today is that I heard that your family donated a library to Nanchuan University. Is that so? Xiao Xiao was speechless when he heard that it was actually about this matter. Ah, this is my family's doing. I'm not particularly clear. It seems like such a thing. If it's for your place in the university, then your movement is a bit big. With your current grades, it's definitely not a problem to get into Nanchuan University. But what I hope most is that you can get into the #1 university in the country. That's the dream of all the students. Principal Yi, you've misunderstood. My family donated a library not for my place in the university. When the time comes, it's still to see which university I can get into. Is that what you think? Then does your family have the same intention? They just want me to finish my studies. There's no special request. Principal, you can rest assured that I'll do my best. But your family's spending is really big. What does your family do? Chow Chow cursed in his heart. What can I say? Principal, my family has a mine. Chapter 95. Oh, no wonder. If there is a mine, then there is no need to worry. The second thing I want to talk to you about today is also related to this. Nanchuan University and our Nanchuan High School are holding an activity together. They hope that we can send an outstanding student to represent them. You just donated a library to our school and theirs, so we want to send you as our honorary student to participate in this activity. What do you think? The principal's attitude couldn't be better. Chow Chow asked, "What kind of activity is it?" "It is a poverty alleviation activity on behalf of the school. It will take about a week. Because it is a long way, I want to ask for your opinion in person." "Principal, how far is it?" "It might take half a day to get there. It's a little hard, but as an honorary student of our school, this is also a place that we've fought for you. In the future, you'll have a more valuable place in all aspects. You'll also have a certificate of poverty alleviation, which will be very helpful for your future studies. The school really hopes that you can go," the principal said quite sincerely. Since the principal said so, what else could Chow Chow do? He had to agree. "Okay, principal, I will go. I will not lose face for the school. I will strive to win glory for the school." "Good job. I knew that you, Chow Chow, are a person who can put the school's interests first. You may have to fall behind in your studies during this period of time, but I believe that with your aptitude, there won't be a problem. Bring the books up to have a look." "Okay, don't worry." Studying was not something that Chow Chow was worried about. It was just that he had just returned home, and now he had to go out again. He basically spent this semester going out and asking for leave. Soon, the semester was going to end. Coming out of Principal Ye's office, Chow Chow sent a message to Yen Ran. "I am going to participate in the poverty alleviation activity. It will be a week. Don't miss me too much." Then, he took a selfie and studied it carefully. It seemed that he had really become more handsome. His eyes were deep and charming, and his black eyeballs seemed to be even darker than before. They were sparkling and translucent, like black and noble glass. Her lips also became more lustrous and glossy. Chow Chow half blinked her eyes and pouted slightly. She made a heart with her hand in front of her chest, as if she wanted to blow the heart to someone else's side. With a click, a handsome portrait was fixed on the frame. He was very satisfied. He wrote 2 words on the bottom right corner of the photo: "I miss you." Then, he sent it to Yen Ran. At this time, Yen Ran had already returned home. Her phone rang twice. She opened it and saw a WeChat message and a selfie. Looking at the photo that had been carefully crafted by God, her little heart still trembled a little when she saw how handsome Chow Chow was. Who knew how many girls this demon was going to harm? Yen Ran was very surprised that Chow Chow would be selected to participate in the poverty alleviation activity. She knew about this activity. Every year, the school would only reserve a place for the graduating students. They were only in the second year of high school. It was reasonable to say that they would not be selected, because this activity would add points when various universities enrolled students independently. It was very useful for their advancement. She replied to Chow Chow, "Why did the school choose you?" Chow Chow saw that Yen Ran actually responded to him. He hugged the phone happily and kissed it twice. "Isn't it because you helped me donate a library? I am now famous among the students. So you asked for it. The conditions there are very difficult. Bring more food." Yen Ran looked at his narcissistic appearance and really wanted to kill him. "I will go alone. It will be lonely. Remember to chat with me. There will be no signal there. Don't worry." Chow Chow immediately sat up straight. What kind of place is that? There is no signal at all. Chow Chow suddenly regretted. He sent a message to Yanran, "Can I not go? I have no regrets. I will not send you off. This Bingshan Yen only knows how to make me angry. I am so good to her, but she is so cold and hot to me. Why is it so difficult to chase a girl?" The departure time was set to be 3 days later. Uncle Wu knew his itinerary and prepared 3 big boxes for him. They were filled to the brim. "Uncle Wu, I am going to help the poor. Do you want me to give these things to others?" "No, young master. These things are for you. I am afraid that you will suffer there. Please, Uncle Wu. I am going there to suffer. If I continue to be so extravagant and compared to those poor children, how will the press release be written?" Uncle Wu thought about it and agreed. "I say, young master, you are going to help the poor. Why do you have to stay there for a week?" "I heard from Principal Yi that we have to teach there. We will be teachers for a few days and teach those children." "Oh, this is quite interesting. Not bad, not bad. It is a good opportunity to train. Young master, this is called training in the human world." Chow Chow felt a headache. "Uncle Wu, stop joking. I heard that there is not even a place to shower. There is also no signal. These few days are going to torture me to death." "Young master, there is no cell phone in the demon world. You have to get used to it," Uncle Wu said righteously. In the end, Uncle Wu prepared a backpack for Chow Chow. There were some snacks inside and nothing else. "Uncle Wu, this is too little. Other than food, there is nothing else." "Young master, the conditions there are difficult. You probably won't have a place to shower. So you don't have to bring any clothes. You should at least bring me 2 pairs of underwear and socks." "Young master, you don't wash your clothes. You might as well not change them. Otherwise, they will stink to death." Chow Chow ground his teeth. He couldn't explain it to Uncle Wu. He ran back to his room and stuffed a few clothes, 2 pairs of underwear and socks. Just as he was about to go out, Kong Ming in the bracelet suddenly called out, "Chow Chow, bring me a few books. Otherwise, I will be bored to death." Chow Chow had no choice. He grabbed a few books and threw them into the backpack. "Young master, it is too late. Hurry up." Chow Chow ran downstairs and waved his hand. Like a small beast out of its cage, he quickly escaped from Uncle Wu's eyes. This time, Nanchuan High School had a total of 1 Miss Zhang and 2 students. One was Chow Chow, and the other was a graduating boy called Shin Ho. He knew this senior. He was an excellent student. Like Yen Ran, he was the top student in the 3rd year. He was always on the school's honor roll and had never taken it down. In the car, Chow Chow heard from the teacher that there would be teachers and students from another school. In addition, there would also be leaders from the Education Bureau coming to inspect and express their condolences. Chow Zhao's heart thumped. The District Education Bureau's Director Fong left a deep impression on him. Although Yen Ran didn't tell him whether it was this person or not, he had subconsciously blacklisted Director Fong. He hoped that he wouldn't meet him again. He sent a WeChat message to Yen Ran and told her about their group. He also told her that he heard that the leaders from the District Education Bureau would also be there for an inspection. He didn't say what he was worried about, but Yen Ran read between the lines. "I'll ask around. Don't worry." With Yen Ran's words, Chow Chow felt relieved. As long as he had Yen Ran's approval, he would feel at ease. After the car drove off the Nanchuan Highway, it went straight to a small country road. At first, the road was smooth, but after driving for almost an hour, it seemed that nails began to grow on the ground. The car was bumping up and down. Chow Chow was sitting in the car with his eyes closed. He was about to fall asleep, but the bumpy road woke him up. He looked at the scenery outside the window. It was desolate. It seemed that they had entered a mountainous area. The mountain here was very strange. Half of it was white, and the other half was green. The white color was probably blown out by explosives, and the green color was messy and covered the back of the mountain. The mountain wasn't particularly high, but it was beyond the horizon of ordinary people. The road up the mountain was very uneven. The driver said that he wanted to go around the mountain and drive from the mountainside. The destination was a concave area surrounded by mountains. It turned out that it was really in the mountains. It seemed that Yenran was right when she said that there was no signal. Building a base station in the mountains, the signal couldn't be transmitted out. The mountain road wasn't a road at all. It was a road that had been trampled out all year round. Some places were very wide, while others were very narrow. The driver drove very slowly, for fear that the car would slip down if he wasn't careful. In this way, slowly and shakily, they finally climbed to the mountainside. Chow Xiao looked down from the window. Sure enough, on the other side of the mountain, there was a small village surrounded by the mountains. Chow Xiao didn't know how the people here usually left the mountain. Even if they had to drive, it would take at least 2 hours to get out of the mountain. The driver said, "When I first came here, I thought I was going the wrong way. There was no GPS. I just followed a simple map that the locals drew for me and found my way in. Fortunately, I used to be a scout and encountered all kinds of road conditions. If it was an ordinary driver, he would have turned around long ago. There aren't many people in the village. There are only some old people and children left behind. The younger and stronger ones have all gone to the city to work. The transportation here is so inconvenient that they can't come back even once a year. You came to the right place to help the poor. This place is really too poor. You can give them a piece of bread and they can treat it as a novel meal. The most important thing is that these children are pitiful. No one is willing to be a teacher here. These children only know how to play with mud all day. They have already become stupid. Aren't we here to teach? To let these children see the outside world." A teacher continued. "It's just that you've been here for too short a time. What can a week do? It's just a formality, writing press releases, taking photos. You can't say that. A short time doesn't necessarily mean that it's useless." The teacher disagreed with the driver. "As teachers, we actually give the children a kind of influence and inspire them to be eager to learn. We also brought some books. If they are willing to take the initiative to learn these books, it will be enough for them to learn for several years." Okay. You are all cultured people. I don't really understand. I think that children still need companionship. They need to be taught by example. Everyone around them is playing with mud. How can you expect them to improve?" Chow Xiao felt that the driver's words made sense. However, he didn't say anything. It was also his first time coming to such a poor place. He wanted to see the situation first. Chapter 96. The car swayed left and right and finally drove into the valley. The view in the valley was relatively wide, but the road was more narrow and bumpy. The winding mountain road made everyone in the car feel dizzy and disoriented. Miss Zhang couldn't stand it and began to vomit. Her face was pale and she was about to faint. Chow Xiao was fine. After all, he had cultivated before. Although the ride here was uncomfortable, he could feel that the spirit energy was very abundant. It seemed to be a good place to cultivate. The mountain road had not been repaired at all. Chow Xiao and the others were bounced up and down in the car. Finally, after the most violent jolt, an emergency brake was applied and the car came to a stop. The driver got out of the car and looked. He was right. There was a big pit in front of them. It seemed that they could only go around the big pit. The driver got into the car and turned the steering wheel. He drove around the big pit, but he stopped after 2 steps. The driver tried to move forward a little more and finally stopped at an intersection. "I'm sorry, the car can only drive here. The road ahead is too narrow. I have to trouble everyone to walk over," the driver said apologetically. There were vegetable fields on both sides of the road that could only be seen with the naked eye. This road was very narrow and led to a small village in the distance. It could only allow a row of 3 people to walk side by side. The car could not enter. It seemed that it had just rained in the valley. The ground was muddy. The teachers got out of the car and looked. The road was indeed too narrow. However, the village was still quite far from the valley. What were they going to do with their big and small bags? Everyone, take your luggage down. There are wheels on the boxes, right? We are here to help the poor. This is a good opportunity to experience life. Miss Zhang, who came with them, encouraged everyone. Xiao Xiao and the others had to take all their luggage down and prepare to walk to the village. It seems that we have to walk for at least 2 hours. Miss Zhang evaluated. Let's walk. I'm tired from sitting. My whole body feels like it's going to fall apart. It's a good opportunity for me to move around. At this moment, Xiao Xiao was glad that he only brought a bag. There was basically nothing in the bag. The other teachers were originally dragging the boxes, thinking that it would save them a lot of effort since the boxes had wheels. But now that he was walking, he realized that the wheel had become a hindrance. The ground was bumpy to begin with, and in addition to the mud, the wheels were soon covered with mud, and soon they couldn't be dragged anymore. Miss Zhang had no choice but to carry the suitcase and walk forward. In the box, there were not only their clothes but also books for the children in the village. Xiao Xiao saw that the others were indeed struggling while he was empty-handed and felt a little embarrassed. He went forward to pick up the heaviest box and said to everyone, "I'll do this." He carried the box and walked as if he was flying. Miss Zhang looked at Xiao Xiao carrying the box and then looked at the others. It was as if a white swan had fallen into a group of migrant workers. No matter how heavy the white swan was carrying, it would still raise its elegant and slender neck. It was still the most dazzling in the crowd. Miss Zhang sighed and said, "It's good to be young." At this moment, they saw an ox cart coming from the distance. It was slowly moving on the road and behind the ox was a handcart. There was a person leaning against the handcart and waving a whip to drive the ox. It seemed that he came from the village. The teachers acted as if they had seen their savior. They quickly ran forward and waved their hands to call for the ox cart. Finally, they met in the middle of the road. The road was indeed narrow, so the two sides clashed and no one could pass. "Sir, can we borrow your ox cart?" "No, no, move out of the way. I want to go to the front and farm." The old man on the handcart was not polite at all. "Uncle, we came here to help the poor. You see, we brought a lot of things to your village. These things are too heavy and we can't carry them. We'll borrow your handcart. You can come back later. We won't delay your work." "How can you not delay my work? It took me an hour to get here. If I bring them back, it will be afternoon by the time I come back. My work for the day has been delayed because of you." The old man refused no matter what. "Uncle, aren't we also here to help your village? You see, we are indeed in trouble. Please help us." Miss Zhang was still arguing with the old man. Xiao Xiao and the others looked at the teachers on the side. The old man kept shaking his head, as if he could not solve this problem. In the end, the two sides could not come to an agreement and blocked each other in the middle of the road. Xiao Xiao looked at the old man's stubborn head and directly pulled Miss Zhang over. "Let me try." He walked forward and stuffed 200 yuan bills into the old man's hand. "Uncle, is this 200 yuan enough to buy your time today?" The old man was holding back his anger with a red face. When he saw such a handsome young man who was so generous, his smile instantly widened. His wrinkled face immediately broke into a smile. His grin almost reached his ears, revealing a mouthful of big black teeth. "You should have said so earlier. It's enough. Young man, you are quite good at helping the poor." After saying that, he smiled and called Miss Zhang and the others to carry the luggage onto his ox cart. Miss Zhang was stunned. She did not expect Xiao Zhao's trick to be so effective. She secretly gave Xiao Xiao a thumbs up. It seemed that the family could live well anywhere. The cart only solved the problem of the luggage, and these people still had to follow behind. Xiao Zhao's high-end sports shoes were also full of mud. He looked at his feet in disgust. With a flip of his fingers, a gust of qi went towards the sports shoes. The mud on this pair of shoes fell off and turned into a pair of clean white shoes. "Xiao Xiao, your walking posture is good, and there is no mud on your feet. Look at us, we are in such a sorry state. Chow Chow smiled and felt proud. It seemed that cultivation was still beneficial. Ever since the old man took his reward, he had become a chatterbox. Of course, he treated the person who gave him money like a big shot. You don't know, 9 out of 10 people who came to help the poor were acting. There were only 2 people who came, but a bunch of reporters and cameramen. They only brought a few things and asked us to pose for them and cooperate with them to take photos. They even prepared the props, banners, pots, bowls, ladles, and so on. There is nothing you can think of that they can't do. Their ultimate goal is to lead the government to achieve political results. They never stayed for more than a day. I say, you are quite strange this time. Why didn't a cameraman come with you? Teacher Zhang was a little embarrassed when he heard that. Grandpa, we just said that we're here to teach your children. When the time comes, we'll just take a few photos ourselves. We're not here for publicity, but to bring knowledge to the children here. Then you are quite noble. How many days do you want to stay? We plan to stay for a week. The people from the Education Bureau will come later. If it is really hard here, they might consider sending a teacher here. Speaking of teachers, I've sent one before, but he left after a few days. Actually, we only have a dozen children here. The adults have all gone to work. The village is full of old people and children. If there is someone here to teach them how to read, that would be great. Chow Chow could not help but be curious. Grandpa, your place is not that far from the city. Why do you have to live here? This is our ancestral home. Our ancestors were tomb keepers. This was originally the tomb of a certain goddess. We have been guarding here for generations. The government has also mobilized us to move. To be honest, it's not that we don't want to move. This is a saying passed down from our ancestors. We, the tomb keepers, can only live beside the tomb. If we leave the tomb, we will die. Look at those of us who go out to work. They have to come back for the new year. If they don't come back, they will die outside. This teacher is speechless. Isn't this a feudal superstition? Is there really such a thing? Hey, don't say that this is a feudal superstition. It has been tested. Previously, someone did not come back for the new year and died outside. There was no news of them, and they could not be contacted. Slowly, generation after generation, no one dares to leave. Hearing the old man's words, everyone felt a chill run down their spines. Chow Chow looked at the surrounding mountains and did not seem to see any tombs. The old man stared at Chow Zhao's fair and handsome face. Young man, you are the best-looking person I have ever seen. You have to be careful. The tomb we are guarding is a female lead. I heard that she likes pretty boys the most. Don't go out at night, or you will be caught by her. After saying that, he chuckled. Miss Zhang could not stand it anymore. Grandpa, don't joke like that. The child is still young. Don't scare him. The old man looked at Chow Chow from head to toe. Still young. You are already 16. In ancient times, there were several 16-year-olds. The more the old man spoke, the more ridiculous he became. Chow Chow listened to him and treated it as a joke. As the crown prince of the demon world, would he be afraid of these demons and monsters? Wouldn't that be a joke? The group chatted as they walked. After about an hour, they finally arrived at the entrance of the village. As soon as the ox cart stopped, a child ran over in a panic. The child was crying with tears and snot. His eyes were filled with fear. When he saw the old man, he quickly ran over. Grandpa, Grandpa, Daniel fell into the well. The old man was shocked. He quickly jumped down from the ox cart. What happened? Let's go and take a look. Did you call for others? I just rushed over and saw you alone. Then quickly call for others to help. After saying that, the old man hurriedly ran into the village without even saying goodbye. Miss Zhang and the others looked at each other. Let's go and see if we can help. Thus, the group followed the old man into the village. Chapter 97. When they arrived, they saw that the old man had already rushed to the side of a broken well. A few children were surrounding the well and looking down. When the children heard the sound of people and saw that it was the adults, they rushed up. "Grandpa, Daniel fell down. He's struggling now." "Then why don't you go and find a long stick?" the old man shouted, waking the children up. The children seemed to have found their backbone and quickly moved. The old man ran to the side of the well and looked down. A little boy was struggling in the water. The arm of the well was very slippery. There was no place for him to exert strength. He could only grab and kick when he was about to sink. Because it was winter, the little boy's face was pale and his lips were purple. He was about to fall over. "The stick is coming. The stick is coming. Get out of the way." Two children held a long stick and rushed to the side of the well. Chow Chow and the others who followed behind them were knocked aside. Chow Chow and the others quickly went to help. They put the stick down from the side of the well and handed it directly to the boy. However, the boy was extremely panicked. He grabbed everywhere in a hurry. Because of his slapping hands, water splashed everywhere. A lot of water splashed directly into his eyes. The cold well water irritated him so much that he didn't dare to open his eyes. The children above shouted anxiously, "Daniel, quickly grab the stick." However, Daniel couldn't hear or see at all. The cold water stimulated him and made him dizzy. Gradually, his consciousness became blurry. He unconsciously grabbed the stick and gradually sank in everyone's sight. Oh no, Daniel is sinking." The children cried out anxiously. The other adults who heard the news were also very anxious. "Who knows how to swim? Who knows how to swim?" The adults looked at each other. None of them knew how to swim. How could people who lived in the valley have the opportunity to learn how to swim? They only saw an adult. He gritted his teeth and stared. "Go and find a rope to send me down." "Where can we find such a long rope?" Just as everyone was as anxious as ants on a hot pan, they heard a splash. A heavy object fell into the water. Everyone turned around and saw an extremely handsome figure jumping down. A bag and a down jacket were thrown down beside the well. Miss Zhang was the first to react. "It's Chow Chow." Chow Chow jumped down. After Chow Chow fell into the water, the first thing he felt was really cold. The bone-piercing chill seemed to be drilling into his bones. He quickly used devil chi to protect his whole body and finally felt a little better. It was very dark at the bottom of the well. Chow Chow only realized that the little light was blocked by the people surrounding the well when he came down. He no longer hesitated and quickly began to look for the person. At this time, the child had already sunk to the bottom of the water. Chow Chow roughly searched around but did not find anything. He no longer hesitated and plunged into the water. Fortunately, the water was not too deep. He quickly grabbed the child's body. The little boy had lost some consciousness, but he still had some control of his thoughts. Feeling that someone was holding him, he seemed to have found a life-saving straw and desperately pressed on Chow Chow. Chow Chow was caught off guard and was strangled by his throat. In the entanglement, Chow Chow was forced to drink a mouthful of water. Chow Chow was so disgusted that he wanted to vomit. He did not even know what kind of water this was. It was disgusting. People who were drowning were very strong. Chow Chow had already clearly experienced this. He tried for a long time but could not pry the child's hand away. It was really King heavy. Chow Chow had no choice but to use devil chi to knock the child unconscious and then directly carry him on his shoulder. When they floated to the surface, the anxious crowd cheered happily. "We saved him. Quick, pull him up." With Chow Chow carrying them, it was much more convenient. Chow Chow pulled the rod and the crowd worked together to pull the two of them up. "This child needs to be sent to the hospital quickly. He's already unconscious." Chow Chow did not care about his sorry state and said as soon as he came up. Hearing this, the crowd was dumbfounded. "We are so far away from the hospital. Then who knows how to do CPR?" Chow Chow continued to ask. "Why don't I try?" Shin Ho volunteered and walked up. The villagers looked at him with gratitude and anticipation. Shin Ho recalled how to do CPR and tried to do it again and again. Time passed by minute. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, but Daniel still did not move. Miss Zhang, is this useful? A villager asked uncertainly. Should we send him to the house first? If the child freezes, he won't be able to wake up. Another villager spoke up. Shin Ho was already sweating all over, and Xiao Zhao's hair was still dripping with water. Wait a little longer. My grandson, you can't die. Finally, a villager's nervous mood exploded after hearing this sentence and began to cry. Fear spread. Some of the villagers had already knelt on the ground and kowtowed to the mountain in the east. Goddess, you must protect Daniel. He is also your tomb keeper. Stop arguing. Qiao Xiao shouted. Everyone was frightened by Qiao Zhao's shout. When they looked up, they saw Qiao Zhao's eyes. At this time, his whole body was wet, but he did not make a sound. Although he was in a sorry state, it could not hide his natural elegance. His pair of bewitching eyes were dark and bottomless, like a deep whirlpool, making people involuntarily lose themselves and submit to him. Qiao Zhao's words were powerful and dignified. Everyone was silent and did not dare to say anything else. They all stared blankly at Shin Ho, who was still doing CPR. 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 30 minutes. Under the continuous CPR, Daniel finally spat out a mouthful of water, followed by a violent cough. Everyone's tense heartstrings finally relaxed. A few children excitedly jumped up. He's alive! He's alive! Several people turned back and kowtowed to the mountain in the east. Thank you, goddess, for your protection. You're not thanking the person who saved you. Why are you thanking the goddess? The old man driving the ox cart could not stand it anymore. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for your bravery, otherwise my grandson would not be here. An old man rushed up and thanked them. All right, quickly bring the children to change clothes. Don't catch a cold. Xiao Xiao directly interrupted him. This benefactor, please also change clothes. It won't be good if you catch a cold. Everyone was beaming with joy. Farmers were just that simple. The old man driving the ox cart also changed his attitude and thanked them profusely. Tamura Nobuharu finally had the time to come up and said with a smile, "You're here to teach, right? Your living quarters have already been arranged. Follow me." Xiao Xiao only now felt a little cold. When the cold wind blew, he shivered. Fortunately, he had the protection of demonic energy, otherwise he would definitely catch a cold. At this moment, he suddenly sneezed. The village chief beside him quickly said, "Xiao Xiao, I'll get the family to boil some ginger soup and send it to you. Don't catch a cold." Xiao Xiao did not mind at all. He grinned. "It's fine. I'm in good health. Someone probably misses me." The village chief was happy when he heard this. "That's true. Young man, you're so handsome. There's probably a lot of people who miss you." Shin Ho added, "Xiao Xiao is our school's most handsome boy. He's a big star in school. It's not easy. This young man is good-looking and has a good character. He'll definitely do great things in the future." The group followed the village chief to a house in the south of the village. The house was very simple. It only had one floor, and the roof was covered with a layer of thatch. "It can't be. This is a thatched house?" Miss Zhang was extremely surprised. The village chief said, "Most of the houses in the village are thatched houses. We're used to living here, so we don't think much of it. It's indeed incomparable to the houses in the city. However, we have a saying here. It's passed down from our ancestors. With the goddess's blessing, thatched houses are the safest. Therefore, we add another layer of thatch on top of the tiled house. Otherwise, it won't leak." "You believe the goddess's words so much?" Miss Zhang could not help but ask curiously. "Of course. We're the goddess's tomb keepers. If we don't listen to her, who will we listen to? You can't be disrespectful to her." She'll hear you. The village chief looked serious. What will happen if she hears you? Chow Chow was curious. She'll punish you if she hears you. You'll stay here for a week. Remember, don't wander around at night. Don't go out if you hear strange sounds. The goddess will send people out to patrol the mountains at night. The village chief explained with great detail. Miss Zhang originally wanted to blurt out, strange powers and gods. However, when she thought about the village chief's words, she swallowed it back. Chow Chow listened and believed it. Such things happened in the 6 realms. There was nothing strange about it. Anyway, it was only a week. It would pass very quickly. After entering the room, it was terrifyingly dark. There was only a very small window. It was still daytime outside. If the lights were not turned on, they would not be able to see anything. There was a wire on the wall that was connected to the only light bulb. Miss Zhang was looking for the switch when the village chief stopped her. There's only electricity at night. We're poor here, so electricity is expensive. That's why it's only turned on when it's dark. Many people still have candles. The village chief continued, I'm sorry. Our conditions here are really simple. There are only 3 rooms. There are quite a lot of people coming this time, so it might be crowded. There's another person from school. He'll probably arrive tomorrow, so we have to leave 2 rooms for him. Then, he brought them to each room to take a look. It was unknown how the room was done. A piece of soil was placed along the wall. It reached their knees and formed a platform that looked like a bed. It was about 4 meters long and 2 meters wide. You can only sleep vertically. Otherwise, there won't be any space. However, it's cold at night. It'll be warm if you squeeze together. Chow Chow looked at the simple bed and suddenly remembered his super soft bed. He did not expect that he would have a day like this. It seemed that Uncle Wu was right. He could not sleep well for so many days, let alone take a bath. He had been soaking in the well water earlier. He did not know if the water was dirty or not. He really did get dizzy. He was disgusted with himself. Is there hot water? Chow Chow did not want to look anymore. He wanted to change his clothes. There is. The village chief was also quite embarrassed. He finally asked about something they had. But it needs to be heated. Chow Chow, hurry up and take a bath. Don't catch a cold. When Chow Chow heard this, he felt that he had to do everything himself. It seemed that young Master Chow Zhao's hard days were coming. Chapter 98. They finally tidied themselves up. After a while, Tamura Nobuharu brought the ginger soup over. Chow Chow had the demonic energy protecting him, so he was fine. However, he was too embarrassed to refuse, so he drank a big bowl and sweated all over. The others also drank some. After drinking a bowl of hot ginger tea, they finally drained some of the day's fatigue through sweat. Shin Ho had already made the beds. Miss Zhang, Chow Chow, we can still share a room with 3 people tonight, but it seems that we'll have to squeeze in tomorrow night. No matter what, this bunk is quite spacious. Chow Chow looked at it with disdain. He had no choice but to suffer. Chow Chow, Shin Ho, this is the first time you've lived in such a difficult place. I really didn't expect that our lives in the city would be so prosperous. It's also the first time I've seen a place that's centuries away from us. However, this also proves that we've come to the right place. This is the target of poverty alleviation. Next, I'll have to discuss with Tamura Nobuharu how we'll arrange the classes. You two need to think about it. After all, the children in the village have a weak foundation. The classes have to be interesting. Otherwise, they won't be able to listen, and it won't help them in their future studies. Our main goal is to be a key for them to explore knowledge. We'll open a door for them. After they enter, it'll depend on their own efforts. Shin Ho was a typical good student. Don't worry, teacher. I'm mentally prepared. Chow Chow nodded. I'll work hard. Chow Chow had never taken care of a child before, so he didn't know what a child would like. When the time came, he would improvise. After a while, Miss Zhang went out to look for Tamura Nobuharu to discuss matters related to poverty alleviation. Qiao Xiao and Shin Ho sat in the room staring at each other. Since they had nothing to do, they decided to go out for a walk. They lived in the south of the village. The whole village was not very big, and they could see the end of it at a glance. They strolled around the village. Perhaps it was because the whole village knew about their heroic deeds, so they received a lot of smiling faces along the way. Just as the driver had said, most of the people here were old people and children. Young people and even middle-aged people were rare. A group of children ran over and surrounded the two of them, asking questions. They had never seen anyone as handsome as Qiao Xiao. "Brother, your eyelashes are so long. Brother, you look so good when you smile. Brother, are you a celebrity? Brother, why is your nose bridge so high? Big brother, can you squat down? I can't even see your face." The children stretched out their hands, wanting to touch Qiao Xiao's face. Qiao Xiao had never taken care of children before. At first, he forced a smile on his face, but later, the group of children chattered so loudly that it gave him a headache. Gradually, he couldn't smile anymore. His face was very precious. He couldn't just let anyone touch it, not even children. Shin Ho answered their questions very patiently. Later, the children basically surrounded Shin Ho, but the person they wanted to get close to was still Qiao Xiao. They kept talking to Shin Ho, but they kept glancing at Qiao Xiao. As they spoke, they somehow managed to shift the topic to the Empress. "The goddess is our protector. She manages everything here. If we are in a drought, we pray to the goddess, and the goddess will give us rain. If there is too much rain, we pray to the goddess again, and the goddess will make the sun appear again. The goddess is very magical. She is very powerful. If anyone in the village is sick, pray to the goddess, and the goddess will send someone to cure them at night. The goddess lives in the mountain in the east. The feng shui there is the best." The children chattered incessantly, all of them wearing expressions of worship. Shin Ho and Qiao Xiao looked at each other. It seemed that they had been brainwashed by the elders in the village. At that moment, someone ran over from the other side. "You two are here. The village chief wants you to eat." The two looked. Sure enough, they were chatting with the children and didn't pay attention to the time. They saw that the setting sun in the distance had become a less dazzling red ball. Now, it was slowly setting down the mountain, leaving only a small part of it outside. Qiao Xiao took out his phone and looked. It was 6 o'clock. There was no mobile signal next to the time. This was really a village isolated from the rest of the world. "Let's go and eat first." They didn't eat at the village chief's house, but at Daniel's house. Big Head's house was slightly more spacious than the one they had stayed in before, but it was still very simple. Before the sky turned dark, they moved 2 tables to the yard. Daniel's grandma smiled and said, "Benefactors, it's too dark in the house. Let's eat outside." Daniel's grandfather also greeted them and asked them to sit with the village chief. "Teachers, thank you so much for saving our family's Daniel. Otherwise, I really don't know how to explain it to his parents. When I came back, I asked the old woman to make a few dishes. These are the best dishes that our family can make. Please don't dislike them. Of course, they can't be compared to the people in the city, but they can fill your stomach." After Qiao Xiao entered and sat down, he saw a big bowl in front of each of them. Each bowl was filled with a bowl of porridge. It was so thin that one could see the reflection of the people in it. There were also 2 side dishes on the table. One was pickled radish, and the other was pickled vegetables. The amount of food was very large. It was placed in 2 small bowls and took up half of the table. Then, there were steamed buns. There were more than 10 of them in the steamer. "Wait a moment. We still have some vegetables in the field. The old woman is cooking. Today, she must add an extra dish for you," Daniel's grandfather said honestly. Tamura Nobuharu said happily, "I also benefited from it. Teachers, please don't dislike it. Our village basically doesn't have any meat. We mainly eat vegetables. Because we are mausoleum keepers, Daniel's family can take out so many side dishes. This is enough for them to eat for 3 months. When Xiao Xiao and the others heard this, they suddenly felt that it was a little difficult to swallow. It was not that they disliked the food, but they really could not bear to finish 3 months of food in one go. Miss Zhang quickly changed the topic. How's Daniel? He's basically fine. He drank the ginger soup and fell asleep. The few of them chatted and slowly finished the meal. Xiao Xiao drank water until he was full. These side dishes and steamed buns were really not to his taste. He remembered that he still had some snacks in his bag. He planned to go back and eat. They ate until the sun went down. When the sky was dark, the few of them finally returned to their house. They turned on the only light bulb in the house and began their days of staring at each other. They were really not used to it at night. There was no phone or TV. They couldn't even read or go out to wander. Xiao Xiao saw Xin Ho take out a book and read it with the help of the phone's flashlight. Miss Zhang praised, "Third-year students are really different." Xiao Xiao, did you bring a book? Xiao Xiao did bring a book, but he wanted to go to a place with the most spiritual energy to cultivate. I brought one too. Then I'll go back to my room to read first. Okay, then we'll go back to our rooms and rest early. Don't run around at night. Xiao Xiao returned to his room and sat cross-legged on the bed. He felt the surging spiritual energy around him. Xiao Xiao, I feel that something is calling me. Xiao Xiao had already entered a meditative state when a voice suddenly appeared in his mind. He listened carefully and found that it was Kong Ming talking to him. What is calling you? A supreme power. Xiao Xiao, it must be a book. I can feel it. It's a book that can make my soul tremble. Kong Ming's voice began to tremble. You must find a way to get it. With it, you can reach the sky in a single bound. Is it that exaggerated? It's true. I swear on my 10,000 years of spiritual knowledge that this is definitely a treasure book. I can feel that this book has been soaked in the blood of millions of people. You're speaking so politely. What do you mean? Can it still be read after being soaked in blood? Kong Ming rolled his eyes in the space. What I mean is that countless people have been sacrificed in order to snatch this book. Haven't you been looking for a secret martial arts book? I have a hunch that it's the master you're looking for. Xiao Xiao became interested. Then let's go. You lead the way and we'll go take a look. Okay. Kong Ming saw that Xiao Xiao had agreed. He excitedly jumped up and down in the space like a monkey. East, east, just go straight east. Xiao Xiao had already heard a lot of east today. Damn, you're not talking about that Empress's tomb, are you? You want me to rob the tomb? I don't know where it is, I only know that it's in that direction. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. With your cultivation, why are you afraid of these things? Kong Ming kept urging him. Xiao Xiao thought about it and agreed. Her cultivation was still quite good. Dealing with some demons and monsters was not a problem. Okay, let's go. At night, the mountain was even quieter. Occasionally, one could hear a few dogs barking. The cold wind blew the thatch on the roof. As soon as Xiao Xiao went out, he felt a bone-chilling cold. Fortunately, he had the protection of demonic qi. Otherwise, he would have been frozen into ice dregs. The cold house made the villagers automatically choose to go to bed early. They huddled under the quilt and hugged the hot water bag. No one knew what they were doing. After Xiao Xiao quietly went out, he saw that it was pitch black. The clouds were very thick, completely covering the moon. The only light came from the few lamps in the village. Xiao Xiao walked to the east. After bypassing the village, he entered a large grassland. It was bleak and desolate. The grass was half the height of a person. Xiao Xiao casually found a branch on the ground and used it to brush the grass and explore the way. Kong Ming kept reminding him of the route in his mind. He kept walking forward. His tall and straight figure was hidden in the grass. Only a black shadow could be seen. From afar, He had broad shoulders and narrow hips. His slender figure was like a hero walking in the grassland in comics. He only lacked a straw hat. Chow Chow walked happily. The original chill had long disappeared. He was sweating all over. Are we almost there? Almost there. It should be the mountain in front. Kong Ming became more and more excited in the space. Looking at the distant eastern mountain, Chow Chow estimated that he would arrive in half an hour. He looked at his phone. Time passed so quickly. It was 1 second to midnight. 1 second later. Dang, dang, dang. Chapter 99. Hearing the sound, Chow Chow abruptly stopped. He instinctively crouched down in the grass and lowered his head. Dang, dang, dang. The sound came from afar again. Someone's here. Chow Chow slightly raised his head and looked in the direction of the sound. Huh? Why is there nothing? However, the sound kept on coming closer and closer. Soon, it was right in front of him. Chow Chow was also disturbed by the strange sound, but he wasn't afraid. He had seen many things in the 6 realms, so he didn't know what it was. Soon, the sound arrived in front of him. In the blink of an eye, it passed by. Chow Chow blinked and the sound was still on the right. After another blink, the sound was on the left, bringing with it a gust of evil wind. This gust of wind was evil. It didn't blow in a straight line. Instead, it circled around Chow Chow and drifted away with the sound. Shit, I've been discovered. Chow Chow knew that this thing wasn't simple. Run. Chow Chow ran like a duck. At the same time, his demonic aura surged. He didn't use spirit concealment to hide himself. The surrounding grass was instantly turned into a circle of barren land by a wave of demonic aura. As he ran, the area of barren land became bigger and bigger. A path automatically opened behind Chow Chow. Kong Ming continuously cheered Chow Chow on in the space. Wow, you brought your own road roller. So cool. Chow Zhao's escape was indeed a wise choice. She watched as the demonic wind followed the path that Chow Chow had paved, creating a vortex on the ground. Kong Ming also saw it. He jumped up and down in the space and shouted, "Run! It's catching up!" Chow Chow saw that the demonic wind was indeed blowing strongly behind her. She decided not to run anymore. Instead, she turned around and a wave of demonic chi rose from her hand. She erected an iron wall in front of Chow Chow. The evil wind couldn't stop in front of the iron wall. With a bang, it slammed into the wall, followed by the sound of vomiting blood. Ah! It was over. Silence returned to the surroundings, and even the clanging sounds disappeared. Chow Chow rubbed his nose. It seemed that he had used too much strength. How did he end up killing someone? He walked to the open ground and found a small branch lying in the middle of the road he had opened up. It was now withered, its whole body was black, and its leaves had shrunk. So it was a small tree spirit. It seemed that there were quite a few things in this mausoleum that had become spirits. At this time, Kong Ming said from the space, "Don't worry about him. Let's go quickly. That thing is calling for me again." Chow Chow had the same thought. Time passed so quickly. It took him several hours to reach the foot of the mountain. They still had to help the poor tomorrow morning, so they couldn't delay it. Since Chow Chow already knew that there would be small demons here, he no longer hid his strength. He released his devil chi and quickly flew above the weeds. East Mountain looked different from East Mountain from afar. From afar, it looked like an ordinary mountain, but when they got closer, they found that every place seemed to have been tidied up. A scenery every 3 steps, a forest every 7 steps. The whole mountain was disorderly and picturesque. It really is the Empress's tomb. The design was so thorough, Kong Ming praised. The whole of East Mountain was like a woman's boudoir. Everything was arranged in picturesque disorder. Every place reflected the thoughts of a young woman. And in the middle of the boudoir, there was the shape of a woman. Up close, the woman was very lifelike. Every part of her body, every depression, and even the little dimples on her face could be faintly seen. It was clear how much the person who had built this mausoleum for her loved her. Kong Ming, who do you think built this mausoleum for her? Who else could it be? It has to be her lover. I don't think so. It could be her parents. The whole of East Mountain looks like an unmarried girl. Look over there, there is a tree hanging down. Doesn't it look like a woman's long hair? Kong Ming carefully looked through the space. It does look like it. What you said makes sense. If it was in ancient times, women would have long hair after marriage. Okay, let's hurry up. Where's the entrance? Chow Xiao saw that it was getting late and urged Kong Ming. How would I know? The book is calling me. He didn't tell me where to go in. Kong Ming scratched his head and said with some distress. You. What do you want me to say about you? You're really a bookworm. You don't think things through at all. Chow Xiao was speechless. He could only look up and down himself. Chow Xiao ran from top to bottom, left to right, but he couldn't find the entrance anywhere. Kong Ming, there's no entrance anywhere. How do we go in? The entrance to a tomb is definitely very difficult to find. It's recorded in the ancient books. Moreover, many tombs have been sealed off to prevent outsiders from robbing them. How could they let you find them so easily? Then what do you think we should do? Did you sense anything? I did sense it. When you were running, there was a call that was a bit softer, and a call that was a bit louder. Then why didn't you remind me? Do you want me to run again? Chow Xiao rolled his eyes. This stupid teammate. Kong Ming carefully said, Why don't you run again? I'll sense it again. He patted his chest and said, This time, I'll definitely do it. And so, under Kong Ming's command, Chow Xiao ran left, right, up, down. Finally, he stopped halfway up a mountain. Where is this? Why does it look so strange? In front of Chow Xiao's eyes, there was a hemispherical stone. On top of the stone, there was a very small round stone. Not far from him, there was another tidy scene that was exactly the same. Chow Xiao, yes, yes, yes. It's here. Go touch the small stone and see if there's any reaction. You want me to touch it? Chow Xiao looked at it for a long time and said through gritted teeth. Yes, touch it. The reaction is the strongest here. I really want to beat you to death. What do you mean by the strongest? Do you know where this is? Chow Xiao hated Kong Ming so much that he wanted to kick him 3 times. Where is this? This bookworm completely didn't understand the situation. Chow Xiao made a gesture with his hands hanging in the air. He half clenched his palms, and then moved them up and down. Kong Ming was dumbfounded. What are you doing? Why is this action so wretched? You're the wretched one. Your whole family is wretched. I'm just telling you which part this is. Kong Ming suddenly understood. Oh, I know. So it's that part. Why isn't she wearing any clothes? Chow Xiao really wanted to twist his head off. Is this the main point? Are you sure it's from here? I'm just sure that the reaction is the strongest here. If you don't want to use your hands, you can use your feet. Chow Xiao thought about it. It was awkward to use his hands. He couldn't help but complain. Why isn't she wearing any clothes? What's the point of doing this? He directly used his feet to knock on the small round stone twice. There was no response. He knocked twice more, but there was still no response. No reaction. It shouldn't be from here. It can't be wrong. My reaction is the strongest here. Don't knock with your feet. Just twist it with your hands. I looked at it like a switch. Chow Xiao looked at the round stone that looked like a grape. Why is it so smooth? It looks like a natural jade. He picked up a leaf from the side and covered it with it. He gently twisted it with his hands. Huh. It looks like a dragon's head. He gently twisted it open. It looks like there's a way. Chow Xiao continued to use more strength and twisted it to the bottom. A rumbling sound rang out and Chow Xiao hurriedly retreated. She saw that between the 2 oars, a small door had opened up in the mountain. At this time, Kong Ming's reaction suddenly became stronger. It's here. It's here. The voice calling me suddenly became louder. Xiao Xiao looked at the dark entrance. It was very small and could only fit one person. Xiao Xiao released a wave of demonic energy and probed the entrance. After probing for a while, there was no reaction. It looked like there was no danger for now. Let's go down. After entering the cave, a wave of cold wind hit him in the face. There were stairs winding down from the cave. Kong Ming commanded in Xiao Xiao's mind. Left, right, up, down. Your senses are quite accurate. You even know where to go. Xiao Xiao was a little incredulous. I also find it a little strange. Originally, he didn't move, but now he seems to be playing with me. He keeps going up and down, left and right. Then I can only let you follow his footsteps. Xiao Xiao was speechless at Kong Ming's words. It was so dark inside that he couldn't see anything. Xiao Xiao used demonic energy to explore as he walked. It was relatively safe along the way. He didn't see any traps. Shouldn't there be traps in a tomb? Why is it so quiet? We haven't reached the tomb yet. We're just walking around the periphery, Kong Ming replied. How do you know? Xiao Xiao couldn't help but find it strange. According to my calculations, this mountain is a few hundred meters deep. We're only around 50 meters now. Do you think we've entered the tomb? Nerd spoke with data. Okay, I'll believe you for now. What should we do now? Wait. He stopped. It's on your left. Pounce on it. Xiao Xiao listened to Kong Ming's words. Out of his trust in this nerd, he pounced to the left without thinking. Ouch. A voice came from below Xiao Xiao. You're crushing me. Quick, grab him. Kong Ming said anxiously. He's a psychic. Xiao Xiao grabbed below without thinking. He couldn't see anything. He didn't know which part it was. It was a little like a head. It was hard, and also a little like a shoulder. But he finally grabbed it. The childlike voice from below sounded again. Why are you grabbing me? Let go of me. You're a psychic. Yes, I'm a psychic. What's wrong? Am I interfering with your business? Come with me. Why should I go with you? Yes, why should he go with me? Kong Ming, answer quickly. Psychic should be with psychic. Tell him that he's my long-lost child. You brought him to find father. Xiao Xiao wanted to laugh when he heard this. This nerd could even make up such a reason. He cleared his throat and said to this psychic with a serious expression, I was entrusted by your father to find you. You're his long-lost child. Now, I'm going to bring you back to your father's side. My father? I'm just a psychic. You're too funny. How could I have a father? If you don't believe me, I'll take you to see. After saying this, Xiao Xiao threw him into Kong Ming's psychic space. Sigh, you can't throw him in so quickly. You won't be able to get out later. Just as Kong Ming finished speaking, he heard the sound of mechanisms from all directions. Chapter 100. The sound of stones rubbing against each other could be heard from all around him. At first, it was just a little bit, but then it became bursts, and then it became waves, spreading out around Xiao Xiao like dominoes. The sound of stones rubbing against each other was ear-piercing and terrifying. It was infinitely magnified in the darkness, eroding Xiao Xiao's facial features. Xiao Xiao instantly had goosebumps all over his body. He rubbed the clothes on his arms, and the rustling sound of clothes rubbing against each other was completely covered by the sound of stones tearing against each other. He listened carefully, trying to distinguish where the sound of stones rubbing against each other came from. At first, it seemed very far away, but at second, it seemed to be right under his feet. Just as Xiao Xiao was hesitating whether or not he should take to the air, his surroundings began to shake. Xiao Xiao felt the ground under his feet also begin to shake. In this half a second, just as he lifted his heel and his toes had yet to leave the ground under his feet opened like a door. His feet slipped, and without any strength, he began to fall uncontrollably. In the midst of the frightening fall, Chow Chow wanted to scream from his throat, but he forcefully held it back. He didn't know what kind of vibration a scream would cause. He swallowed his breath, and his entire face turned red. His hands flailed wildly in the air, but there was nothing but air. At this critical moment, he quickly activated his demonic aura, forming a protective shield around himself. It was as if he was stepping on a black cloud. His down jacket began to fly to both sides, and his clothes fluttered. He was like a chivalrous hero falling off a cliff. Chow Chow was thinking, "I'm still missing a sword." Kong Ming was very anxious in the space. "Chow Chow, you have to hold on." Chow Chow didn't have time to answer before his feet touched the bottom. It didn't seem very high. The only thing that gave him a headache now was that he couldn't see anything around him, and he didn't know where he was. It was so dark that there wasn't even the slightest bit of light. Chow Chow guessed that he had fallen into the mausoleum and accidentally triggered some mechanism. It seemed that this little spiritual sense was the key. Chow Chow didn't dare to move a single step for fear of triggering another mechanism. The mechanisms in the ancient mausoleum were no joke. He called out to Kong Ming in his mind, "Hurry up and ask him how we can get out of here." When Kong Ming saw Chow Chow land on the ground, he finally felt relieved. "I just asked him. He said that once you come in, you can forget about leaving." "Damn, this little guy is so rude. I suggest you beat him up." Don't. The little psychic looked at Kong Ming's raised fist and was a little scared. "Is what you said just now true? Is he really my father?" Kong Ming pretended to be serious and said, "Of course I am your father. Think about it, you are the spiritual sense of a book, and I am also the spiritual sense of a book. I am so much older than you. Even if I am not your father, I am still your elder. The two of us are the same." The little psychic looked at Kong Ming and then looked at itself. It smelled the scent on Kong Ming's body. It was simple and solemn. "What you said seems to make some sense. The two of us have the same scent. All right, you two stop chatting. Hurry up and tell me how we can get out. Isn't that simple? If you let me out, the switch will automatically recover. But you can't come out now. If you come out, it won't be the switch that will recover, but the entire mountain will be destroyed." Kong Ming told him the truth. After the little psychic heard this, it was as surprised as when Chow Chow heard it last time. "How is that possible? Don't lie to me. I don't believe you. I am your elder. I won't lie to you. If you don't believe me, reach out a hand and see if there are any changes." The little psychic stretched out a hand. With just this one hand, the earth began to shake and the mountain began to shake. There was a faint phenomenon of the mountain on the verge of collapse. The little psychic was so scared that it quickly withdrew its hand. "It's true. What should I do? The Empress will blame me. What's your name?" "My name is Kong Xiaoming." "Damn, even your name is the same as mine. Who gave you that name? And you said you weren't my son. What's your name?" "My name is Kong Ming." Kong Xiaoming was stunned. Then, he suddenly threw himself into Kong Ming's arms. "Dad, I finally found you." Kong Ming was held by this naughty child. He was somewhat at a loss. Just now, he was just lying to him. He didn't expect this child to take it seriously. All right. Don't cry. I was just teasing you. How can I be your dad? I don't even know you. You are my dad. You don't know me, but I know you. At that time, this book of mine was also with you. Later, I don't know how it was stolen, but I was locked up in this dark place all year round. I guess you absorbed the essence of the other books and formed you. And this book of mine slowly formed its own psychic consciousness. But I can no longer find my original set of books. You asked if you were my father. So that's my home. Chow Chow listened in disbelief. There was actually this kind of origin. It seemed that the world of books was not something he could understand. Oh, I remember. You are one of the books in that set of Invincible, right? Kong Ming suddenly understood. Chow Chow, there was a set of books called Invincible. If you practice that set of books, you will reach the heavens in a single bound. But because there was one book missing, I didn't give it to you to practice. Today he kept calling me, but in fact, he was calling his brother. You finally found what you wanted. Kong Ming was overjoyed. Interesting. There really is such a difficult and abnormal book. Xiao Xiao was somewhat in disbelief. Okay. It seems that the two of us are indeed fated. I also came here because I was summoned by you. Whether you are my son or not, I will treat you as my son from now on. Kong Ming was very happy. He did not expect that after this trip, he would actually find a son. This kind of telepathy was really magical. You two don't randomly recognize relatives. Hurry up and tell me how to go back. I am going out now. I still have to help the poor tomorrow morning. After returning to the family, the little psychic Kong Xiaoming's attitude was much better. Can you take me away from this damn place? It's so dark all day. I am suffocating. Of course. We came to find you. Of course, we will take you away. Xiao Xiao patted his chest and promised. Yes. That's great. This is the mausoleum of the Empress. That year, I was buried in the mausoleum of the Empress as a funerary object. There are many mechanisms below. You must not touch it. Now that you have fallen from above, you are only on the first floor. There are still 18 floors below. Now, you must think of a way to return to the place where you found me. That is the place closest to the exit. Then can I move now? Xiao Xiao was still somewhat hesitant. He did not know what was going on around him. You must not move. Just go up from where you are and go straight out. There are mechanisms all around you. Okay, now he could only listen to Kong Xiaoming. Xiao Xiao channeled all the demonic energy to the bottom of his feet. His whole body suddenly jumped up. Borrowing the demonic energy, he directly went up from the place where he was free falling, overcoming the gravitational pull. He did not know how high he had jumped. He kept raising his right hand towards the sky. Not long after, he felt his hand touch a hard object. He carefully touched it. It seemed to be a stone wall. I have reached the top. What do I do now? Kong Xiaoming continued, move 2 steps to the left. Xiao Xiao did as he was told. Finally, his feet touched the ground. Then, Kong Xiaoming began to instruct Xiao Xiao. 2 steps to the left, 2 steps to the right, 1 step to the left, 1 step to the side, and 1 step to the back. Just like that, Xiao Xiao finally walked out from the entrance. He turned back to look at the Empress and her boudoir, which covered the entire mountain. He bowed. Empress, sorry to disturb you. At last, he completed his mission for the night. Xiao Xiao returned to his bedroom the same way he came. On the way back, he did not hear any strange sounds or strange creatures. There were only 4 walls in the house. The room was extremely cold. The thatch on the roof rustled even more in the night wind. There was a flutter in the wind, as if it was waiting for Xiao Xiao to return late. When he returned to his room, Xiao Xiao was too lazy to turn on the lights again. There was no difference between turning on the weak light and not turning it on. He did not even take off his clothes. He got into bed and covered himself with the smelly quilt. He put the quilt far away from his nose and only covered his stomach. Thinking about how he would have to live like this for 7 days, Xiao Xiao felt a headache coming on. Lying on the bed, Xiao Xiao let the thick aura of the mountain surround him. Soon, he fell asleep. He did not know that the father and son in the bracelet space were overjoyed to finally reunite after a long time. The two of them chatted from dusk until dawn. Kong Xiaoming finally believed that Kong Ming was his family. He had finally found his home. Yanran learned about Xiao Zhao's worries over the phone. At first, she did not think much of it. How could Director Fang have the time to go to such a place to help the poor? The local Nanchuan news would sometimes broadcast the whereabouts of the Director of Education, but there seemed to be no news recently. Yanran, the principal wants you to go to him. Miss Zhu told Yanran after class. Okay, teacher, I'll go right away. Principal Yi was fiddling with his bonsai. When he saw Yenran come in, he smiled. Come, sit, Yenran. I have something to tell you. Yenran sat on the chair next to him. Her back was straight, and she looked at the principal indifferently and coldly. Now, the quota for the independent enrollment has been released. The school wants to enroll you. You are more outstanding in all aspects. I don't know which university you want to apply to. When Yenran heard this, she had already thought about it. I want to apply to the Northern University. The principal nodded with satisfaction. Sigh, if you choose the Northern University, then Tsinghua University will definitely be sad. These schools are all fighting for you. My intention is to study finance in the future, so choosing a liberal arts school may be more suitable for me. Yenran had already thought about her future very clearly. Alright, it does make sense when you put it that way. The Northern University is definitely the best among the liberal arts schools. Xiao Xiao from your class has also been chosen by a few universities. Tsinghua University also wants him. He won the Information Science Olympiad last time, so Tsinghua University said that he can be admitted directly. When Yenran heard this, she was happy for Xiao Xiao. This time, Xiao Xiao is going to help the poor. The school also specially allocated a quota for him. The Director Fong of the District Education Bureau is also very interested in him. He specifically asked him to go. It seems that he also needs to be trained. Yenran's heart skipped a beat. She did not show any reaction on the surface, but if Xiao Xiao was here, he would be able to see that the white steam bun on her head was a little anxious and was about to go berserk. She did not expect Xiao Xiao to be right. Chapter 101. After Yenran went back, she started to look through the news websites. There was nothing special on the District Education Bureau's website. However, the personal news about Director Fong made her eyes pop out of her head. The netizens were indeed very powerful now. The human flesh search function was very powerful, and everything was dug up. Some time ago, there was news of a child drowning in Nanchuan Park. She had also seen it, but she didn't expect it to be Director Fong's grandson. How could such a thing happen? Was it really an accident? Everything that happened couldn't be explained with the word coincidence. Yenran closed her laptop with a bang. Abnormal was a demon. She took out her voice changer and called the director of the District Education Bureau. The person who answered the phone was a secretary. Yenran reported that there was an education problem and wanted to talk to the director. The secretary replied, "If there's anything, you can tell me." The director went to the countryside to help the poor these 2 days. He's not here. Yenran casually said a few words and hung up the phone. There was a constant surge of anxiety in her heart. The next morning, Xiao Xiao walked out of his room and stretched. The sunlight pierced his eyes. He squinted and looked at the distant Dongshan Mountain. Dongshan Mountain looked tall and lush during the day. It wasn't as mysterious as it was at night. Who would have thought that it would be a different scene up close? Miss Zhang and Xin Ho had already woken up. The two of them were talking about how they couldn't sleep because of the cold last night. Today, they wanted to borrow 2 hot water bags from the village chief. Although Xiao Xiao didn't sleep much, the spiritual energy in the mountains was abundant. He only slept for 2 hours, but he still felt refreshed. He felt that Kong Ming and Kong Xiaoming in the bracelet space had chatted all night and were now sleeping soundly. He didn't expect to pick up a child on a trip to the mountains. Early in the morning, the village chief sent them porridge, steamed buns, and salted vegetables. "I'm sorry, this is the best we can do here. There aren't many vegetables in winter." The village chief smiled embarrassedly. Miss Zhang quickly replied, "We're just here to experience life. We're embarrassed to have to trouble you. We are very happy that you can come. Our children here only know how to play in the mud all day. They can't do anything else." The children's parents would also bring some books back from the city, but there was no one to teach them or take them with them. They were just decorations. Later, they were all used to cushion the table. The village is too poor. We can't continue to be poor generation after generation. Miss Zhang said, "That's right. We're here to help the poor in order to arouse their interest in learning. It's too short a time, so the effect won't be obvious. But at least we can let the children know that they should learn. We have to pass on this principle to them." After finishing their meal, they followed the village chief to a small open space in the village. "We don't have a school or a classroom here. I'll bring 2 tables and chairs for you in the next 2 days, so you can only have outdoor classes." Miss Zhang said, "The form is not important. The key is that the children are willing to listen." Soon, the children came one after another. There were 7 of them in total. Even Daniel, who had fallen into the water yesterday, came. He seemed to have recovered after a night's rest. He was playing with the children in high spirits. Yesterday, his grandpa had told him that 2 brothers had saved him. One of them was very handsome. He came to take a look today and found that there was indeed a male model in the village. He was a natural clothes hanger. Although he was wearing a down jacket, it couldn't hide his elegant demeanor at all. Daniel felt a little ashamed. He looked at his dirty and wrinkled black cotton-padded jacket, pulled it back and forth, left and right, and moved to Chow Chow step by step. He looked at the face of a god who had descended to the earth and couldn't help blushing. How could there be someone so good-looking? Was it this person who saved him yesterday? "Brother, thank you for saving me yesterday." Chow Chow touched his waist-high head and smiled at him. "You have to learn to swim in the future. Then you won't be afraid of falling into the well again." Daniel looked at the peerless face in front of him and listened to his gentle words of encouragement. He couldn't help being tongue-tied. I will definitely learn." A little girl next to him also ran over. "Brother, why are you so good-looking? Are you an immortal in heaven?" "I'm the prince of the devil world. If I tell you, you'll be scared to death." Chow Chow complained in his heart. "How can an immortal in heaven be more handsome than me?" Chow Chow winked at the little girl. The little girl's little heart trembled. This brother can generate electricity. After this brief interlude, they officially started their class. First, Miss Zhang described the outside world to them. She told the children that there were many things outside the mountains that they needed to explore, and the most convenient way was to read. The children were unwittingly attracted by the beautiful world that Miss Zhang described. It was not something they had never heard of or imagined. Books are the key to opening this world, so learning to read is very important. You have to start learning Pinyin. Once you know Pinyin, you can read, you can start reading, and you can explore the outside world. Then, Shin Ho and Chow Chow distributed the Pinyin reading materials and picture books they brought to the children. After that, Miss Zhang taught them Pinyin bit by bit. After a while, some of the children began to get confused. The discipline of the class was broken, and the children couldn't sit still. Miss Zhang's mouth was also dry. "How about this? I'll let you rest for a while. Let your brother Chow Chow take you to play." Chow Chow touched his nose. "Does he look like the king of children?" Unexpectedly, all the children immediately rushed to Chow Zhao's side. "Who asked him to be so handsome?" A few of the children wanted to climb up his legs. Chow Chow hurriedly took a step back and gestured for them to stop. "Stop. If you want me to take you to play, you have to listen to me." The children all stopped in their tracks and nodded desperately. The group of adults next to them watched and laughed. It seemed that the children could distinguish between beauty and ugliness. Handsome people were attractive. The village chief also watched this scene with a smile. Chow Chow felt a headache coming on. "Then let's play a game of hide and seek. Daniel, come over here. Lie down on this tree and cover your eyes. Then, the others quickly hide. Don't be too far away, just somewhere you can see from the square. Daniel, start counting. When you count to 10, turn around and look for them. If you find one within 5 minutes, you win. You'll be rewarded with an animation book." The children were extremely excited. Hide and seek was their favorite game. Immediately, The children began to run around the square like little girls. Daniel was full of pride that Chow Chow had given him such an important task to find people. He couldn't lose. Daniel covered his head on the tree and started counting. At first, he was very slow. Later, when he counted the last few numbers, it was like a bullet in his mouth. He finished counting in an instant. The other children nervously scattered. In the blink of an eye, there were no children in the square. The group of onlookers laughed and laughed. Daniel quickly searched the square. He was familiar with this place. Every day, he would come here dozens of times. As for where to hide people, he was very clear about it. He quickly climbed up a tree branch and pulled a person down from it. Then, he went into a family's pigsty and pulled out a child. The child had a foul smell on him. It was obvious that he had accidentally touched pig food. Then, he looked around the crowd of adults. He really found one behind two old people. Everyone was amazed by Daniel's speed of finding people. They didn't expect that in a short time. He had already found more than half of them. Chow Chow looked at his watch. It was time. Daniel was very happy. He was proud and looked like he was asking for praise. He walked in front of Chow Chow and stretched out his hands. He longed for a reward. Chow Chow was not stingy with his encouragement. He rubbed Daniel's head and gave him a big thumbs up. Then, he took a few comic books and put them in his hands. Daniel ran to the side with the comic books as if he had found a treasure. The surrounding children all surrounded him. Chow Chow, I didn't expect you to be so good at taking care of children. No wonder they like you. Shinho walked over and said to Chow Chow with a smile, I was originally a rich playboy. When it comes to fun, I think no one would dare to claim to be first if I claimed to be second. I really didn't expect you to be like this. I always see news about you on the school's Cheba. You dance so well, you play basketball so well, and you even won the Information Science Olympiad. How come I didn't expect you to be a rich playboy? Shinho felt a little strange. I was originally a bad student. Later, my brain suddenly opened up, and my grades became good. I'm not like you, who has been an excellent teenager since you were young. Chow Chow threw the comic books in his hands up and down. He said very casually, Then I can see that you are well prepared and have a lot of stamina. You're also talented. You're not like me, who studied and studied hard since I was young. That's how I got to where I am now. Shinho had a round face. When he looked at people, he was focused and serious. One look and you could tell that he was a trustworthy person. Chow Chow had a good impression of him. He patted his shoulder and said, Yesterday your CPR was very good. I thought that there was no hope. I didn't expect you to persevere and finally save Daniel. It's a life. Of course, I have to give it my all. It's also my first time saving someone. My heart was trembling when I applied the theories in the books to practice. You're still the brave one. The weather was so cold, and the water was so cold. You really need some courage to jump down. Shinho said from the bottom of his heart. At that time, I was in a hurry. I didn't think about anything and just jumped down. Chow Chow leaned back against a tree and tiptoed. Your body is really good. After being splashed with cold water, you didn't even catch a cold. Last night, it was like we slept in an ice cellar. I even felt a headache when I woke up in the morning. The two of them chatted with each other, and a trace of recognition rose in their hearts. The more they talked, the more they got along. There was a feeling of regret that they didn't meet sooner. Chow Chow was more and more satisfied with the poverty alleviation this time. Other than the poor conditions, the people he got along with were all good. Chapter 102. The next segment they designed was for the children to read according to the pinyin that they had already learned. Everyone came up and read a sentence. If they made a mistake, the children below could correct them. It had to be said that Mr. Nanchuan's teaching method was really good. Under this method, everyone was very focused because they would be rewarded for pointing out other people's mistakes. Looking at these pinyin letters, they quickly learned them. Even if they didn't know the words, they could slowly read a picture book according to the pinyin. The village elder and the elders were very happy to see this. Miss Zhang, you are right. Stimulate the children's interest and let them learn through the game. This way, even if you leave, they will be very willing to continue playing this game. The essence of education is to stimulate people's interest. As teachers, this is how we teach children. Xin Ho continued, this is just to introduce them to the basics. When it comes to the later stages, they will have to study the difficult knowledge themselves. During the break, Xiao Xiao brought them to play Eagle and Chicks. Xiao Xiao, Xin Ho, and Miss Zhang all took the lead to play the Eagle, followed by a group of Chicks. The cold winter did not feel cold at all amidst the laughter and laughter. Everyone's heart was warm and the adults were sweating from playing. The children's favorite was to circle around Xiao Xiao. This handsome brother had endless charm and energy, and the light in the children's eyes never dimmed. Daniel was the most active one. He seemed to have become Xiao Xiao's spokesperson. Whatever Xiao Xiao said, he would relay it to the other children. He was like a child and a mouthpiece. Brother Xiao said, which one of you can tell the story to everyone? He will give you a chance to shake hands with you. Just for this chance to shake hands, all the children were full of energy. Who would have thought that a handshake would cause the children's little universe to explode? They all became orators and told the story vividly. Xiao Xiao was not stingy with shaking hands with all the children. One of the little girls blushed and shyly made a new request. Brother Xiao, what do I have to do to be able to hug you? Xin Ho couldn't help but laugh. He secretly said to Xiao Xiao, don't you think you look like a prostitute? How much is a touch? How much is a kiss on the cheek? Xiao Xiao slapped him far away. Just like that, the classes for the day were tight and orderly. The children were learning and playing happily. The teachers were also teaching happily. The villagers were even happier. It was as if the entire village was celebrating the new year. That night, several teachers and students from another school came to the village. They were surprised by the current situation of the village. They had never been to such a poor place before. Xiao Xiao and the others had already gotten used to it. It was just that they had to give up half of the place to sleep at night. In the end, it was Xiao Xiao and Xin Ho who shared a room. The others were free to group up and fill up the entire room. At night, Xin Ho was there. Xiao Xiao couldn't go out. The two sat on the bed and chatted. Xiao Xiao found that Xin Ho was very knowledgeable. He knew everything from astronomy to geography. He must have read a lot of books since he was a child. If he hadn't been studying hard during this period, he probably wouldn't have been able to catch up on a lot of things. Xin Ho also found that Xiao Xiao was a treasure trove. Not only was he humorous, but he also knew a lot of professional knowledge, especially in information science. He was really a god. He was the object of his worship. Shan Hao looked at him lazily lying on the bed with his legs casually crossed and his hands under his neck. Every detail of his body was designed perfectly. In the end, Shan Hao concluded, if I say on Chieba that I'm sharing a bed with you, the whole school will probably explode. It's just a body. There's nothing to show off. Xiao Xiao grinned. Xin Ho looked at Xiao Xiao's casual appearance. Under the perfect face, no matter whether it was a man or a woman, everyone would want to have such a beautiful body. At first, both of them had their eyes closed, but now Xin Ho opened them. He stared greedily at the perfect face. It was a challenge to his self-control. He wrapped the quilt tightly to hide his accelerated heartbeat. Slowly, the two of them fell asleep. The last sentence reminded Xiao Xiao of how well Yanran treated him. She was the only girl who didn't look at the body but looked at the heart. Although he didn't know how Yanran felt about him, at least this kind of hazy interaction always made his heart beat faster. The next day, it was the turn of the teachers from other schools to teach the children. Xiao Xiao and the others became bystanders. The teachers from the other schools had also made meticulous preparations. They had brought many exquisite gifts, 3 full boxes of toys. For the children in the valley, they had never seen such novel toys before. The teachers really became the children's leaders, teaching them all kinds of toys and engaging in a toy war. The children were having a lot of fun playing. Daniel drove his toy tank. The remote control in his hand was like a conductor's baton. At first, he wasn't familiar with it. After a few rounds, it stuck to his fingers. If he told him to go east, he wouldn't go west. Moreover, the speed was getting faster and faster. The other cars chased after Daniel's tank. The tank and the cars formed a convoy. The tank cleared the road in front. Because the road was bumpy, the other cars often went astray. Here, the tank's advantage was shown. Soon, the tank convoy walked out of everyone's sight. Chow Xiao and Shin Ho chatted and didn't care. The group of children followed the tank. After turning a corner, they couldn't see it anymore. After a while, Daniel's voice came from afar. He seemed to be flustered and exasperated. "You guys pay for my tank." Then, a group of children's voices said, "You guys pay for our toys." Chow Xiao and Shin Ho looked at each other. Something seemed to have happened. "Let's go and take a look." When they got closer, they realized that another group of people had come. Because they were careless, the boxes they were dragging fell on the tank. The tank was crushed and one of its wheels fell to the ground. Daniel hugged his beloved tank and was so anxious that he wanted to cry. "Kid, don't worry. I'll buy you another one." A middle-aged man squatted down and studied the tank with Daniel. But Daniel was completely angry with him. He avoided the middle-aged man's hand that was about to take the tank. Then, he twisted his body and moved to the side. At the side, a few children surrounded the person who was dragging the boxes and kept making a fuss. That person was dragging the boxes. Because of the bumpy road, he accidentally fell on top of the tank. He was already sweating profusely. Now that he was surrounded by a group of children, he was even more flustered. "This tank is the only one. Where are you going to pay for it?" Daniel's heart ached. He wanted to put the wheels on, but he couldn't. The middle-aged man was a little embarrassed. "I mean what I say. I'll buy you a new one." "Director Fong, you came personally?" Miss Zhang recognized at a glance that the person was Director Fong of the District Education Bureau. When Chow Xiao heard Director Fong's name, he immediately became alert. He walked from the back of the crowd to the front and took a closer look. It was really Director Fong who came to their school last time. The village chief and the others also came. When they heard that it was the director of the District Education Bureau, they immediately welcomed them in. But the children didn't buy it at all. Whoever broke their toys was a bad person. They were no longer as friendly to Chow Xiao and the others. When they saw this group of people enter the village, they immediately ran away. Director Fong raised his eyes and looked at the people surrounding them. His gaze paused on Chow Xiao for a moment before he immediately looked away. Chow Xiao didn't know if he was being sensitive, but he felt that Director Fong seemed to be evaluating and confirming something. The village chief was very happy that the director of the District Education Bureau personally came to their school. There were already 2 groups of teachers here. He didn't expect the District Education Bureau to take it so seriously. No matter what, even if they were here to take photos, it would be very beneficial for them. Director Fong took the initiative to ask to see the surroundings. The group of people could only accompany Director Fong to look around with the village chief. "The conditions here really need to be improved. This isn't very good for the children's education. If you're poor, you can't be poor for the children's education," Director Fong said as he walked. The village chief agreed. "Yes, we still need the director's concern. We don't have any teachers here. We're too poor. No one is willing to come here to be a teacher. This can be a poverty alleviation program. We can arrange for teachers to come here in shifts to teach. Those who are willing to come here to teach will be given preferential treatment when they get promoted in the future." Miss Zhang nodded. "This is a good idea. This way, there will be people willing to come." "How's their teaching these 2 days?" Director Fong asked the village chief directly. "They teach very well. The children especially like them, especially the most handsome Chow Xiao. He's very popular with children and is very good at teaching. Oh, really? I couldn't tell. Director Fong chuckled as he turned to look at Xiao Xiao. But the moment he saw him, his eyes instantly turned cold. Xiao Xiao wanted to answer, but Director Fong turned his head. It's not easy to come here. I'll stay here tonight. When the village chief heard that the director was actually staying here without any prior arrangements, he couldn't help but feel a little embarrassed. Director, the conditions here are really bad. Also, the space is limited. These people are all squeezing together to sleep. You might not be used to it. Poverty alleviation must be done in place. How can we leave just because the conditions are bad? Then our poverty alleviation program will really be a formality. Don't be embarrassed. I'll sleep with them. The village chief had a headache. Where in the village could there be extra rooms for Director Fong to stay in? He looked for a long time and could only move the group of people to a bigger courtyard with 3 entrances. There were a total of 8 of them now. The 3 rooms could only be arranged in a 332 layout. Originally, Xiao Xiao thought that Director Fong would definitely stay with his follower. He didn't expect Director Fong to say that he wanted to understand the thoughts of the young students. So, he chose one of the students to stay with him. In the end, under Director Fong's insistence, Xiao Xiao stayed in the same room as him. The others squeezed in separately. When Xiao Xiao found out about the adjustments to his room, he was even more certain that Director Fong came prepared. What did he want? Chapter 103. Miss Zhang patted Xiao Xiao's shoulder and encouraged him. Xiao Xiao, take advantage of this opportunity and report your thoughts to Director Fong. Let him guide you, it will be very beneficial for your future studies. Xiao Xiao's head hurt like hell. He couldn't even protect his own life, so how could he talk about his studies? Xiao Xiao dilly-dallied and stayed in Xin Ho and Miss Zhang's room for a long time, unwilling to leave. Miss Zhang urged him several times, Xiao Xiao, don't be shy, hurry up and go. Finally, he couldn't take it anymore. Xin Ho and Miss Zhang were already preparing to go to bed, so he could only return to his own room. When he came out of Xin Ho's room and walked to his own room, he had to pass through the courtyard. As soon as he came out of his room, he saw that the door to his room was wide open. There was no light inside, just like a dark hole. He had a feeling that he had walked right into a trap. Xiao Xiao took a deep breath. No matter what, this time he came openly, so there shouldn't be any underhanded tricks. Moreover, last time Yen Ran didn't tell him whether or not that Zixuan expert was Director Fong. He assessed his current strength. After this period of cultivation, his spirit concealment spell had already reached the 7th level. In other words, he could use 7th level demonic aura without being detected. What kind of result would it be if he went up against Zixuan at the 7th level? He wasn't sure, but at least it wouldn't be like last time, when he couldn't use any demonic power and was beaten so miserably. As soon as he entered the room, he saw Director Fong sitting on the bed without saying anything, just staring at the door. His 2 eyes seemed even darker in the darkness, so deep that he couldn't see the bottom. Close the door. Director Zhang's cold voice sounded. Xiao Zhao's entire body was filled with vigilance, every hair on his body standing on end. He closed the door with the back of his hand. The moment he closed the door, he felt a layer of enchantment around him. Then, an earth-shattering pressure came crashing down on him, squeezing every pore in his body. F***CK, he didn't even say a word and directly started fighting. Xiao Xiao was pressed against the door. He couldn't turn around, so he couldn't see Director Fong's venomous eyes staring at Xiao Zhao's back. The purple aura above Director Fong's head soared into the sky. 90% of his strength was not concealed at all. It was 10 times more powerful than the last time in the small alley. Fortunately, Xiao Xiao was already mentally prepared. He immediately released his level 7 devil chi, and the pressure was greatly reduced. He protected himself with a layer of devil chi, which collided with the purple gas. Kid, you really are hiding something. Director Fong's cold words floated over. Director Fong, why are you doing this? Do you want to kill me? Chow Chow squeezed out these few words with difficulty. You know very well. Why do you need me to say it? Do you want to rub salt on my wound? With this angry roar, the pressure was raised to full strength. Chow Chow was confused, but he didn't have time to think. He could only concentrate all his energy to resist the pressure. Only then could he breathe. Director Fong didn't see any devil chi on Chow Zhao's body from beginning to end. But at this time, he didn't care at all. Whether or not he was a cultivator, he only knew that he had to avenge his grandson. In his eyes, Chow Zhao's vicious thoughts and vile actions deserved to be cut into pieces 10,000 times. Just as the two were fighting, the enchantment began to loosen. The two people inside were too strong. Director Fong was shocked. If the house was destroyed, everything would be exposed. He simply cast a spell and tied Chow Chow up tightly. Finally, he led him to the back of the mountain. Chow Chow couldn't do anything. His whole body was tied up. He couldn't move or speak. He could only be dragged forward. Director Fong was worthy of being a Zishuan expert. He was quite agile. He ran a long distance with Chow Chow without panting. Chow Chow was quite miserable. It was like a rope tied to him. It didn't care about his balance at all. He had already fallen to the ground. It was like being dragged by a horse. The clothes on his body were rubbing against the ground. Fortunately, he wore thick clothes in the winter. Even if his clothes were torn, it didn't hurt his flesh. But the abrasions on his exposed hands and feet were already unavoidable. Chow Chow struggled to raise his head. He only had one thought now, and that was to not disfigure his face. Soon, he was dragged to the place where the weeds were growing. Director Fong probably felt that the weeds were in the way, so he simply dragged him away from the ground. He finally didn't have to rub against the ground. But there was nothing covering his face. One by one, the weeds cut his face like sharp knives. Chow Chow was actually thinking, oh no, my face is disfigured. Will Yenran still like me? Chow Chow remembered that before, Yenran also tied him up once. It seemed that this Director Fong was about the same level as Yenran. Chow Chow had never seen Yenran's real strength. He only knew that she was much stronger than him. Now, he had some personal experience. In the darkness, the back of the mountain was like a sleeping dragon. Because the tomb of the Empress of East Mountain was closest to the sun, it was also where the dragon's head was. And now, Director Fong was dragging Chow Chow in that direction. Soon, Chow Chow had no choice but to think about it. Because the pain was coming from all over, from his face to every bone in his body, he felt like they were about to break. And Director Fong wanted to torture him, so he dragged him up the mountain as fast as he could. There were all kinds of strange rocks on the mountain, and the heights were uneven. Chow Chow was constantly knocked into dizziness. The places on his body that should be bleeding were bleeding. There was also a big bump on his forehead that began to bleed. His whole face looked terrible. If Chow Chow didn't have the devil chi to protect his body, he probably would have been dragged to death. But the devil chi could only protect his heart and meridians, not his appearance. Just as Chow Chow was slowly being knocked into dizziness, Director Fong finally stopped. How is it? Chow Chow, it feels good, doesn't it? It's a pity that I'm the only one dragging you. I really wish there were 5 horses dragging you in different directions. Then you would experience the pain of being torn apart by 5 horses. Director Fong didn't hide the hatred in his heart at all. I only tortured you, and you actually dared to take revenge on my grandson. Chow Chow, I'd rather you come at me. How could you do it to a child? You actually have such a vicious mind. Then I'll let you experience the pain of being torn apart. Director Fong had already begun to roar. You scum. Even if I cut you into 1,000 pieces, it won't make up for the sins you've committed. Today, I'm going to bury you here, and let you live with the grave forever. Director Fong had already lost his mind, and he laughed at the sky. Then he began to swing Chow Chow into the mountain, again and again, and the entire mountain was hit with banging sounds. Director Fong laughed like a madman, and swung Chow Chow like a discus. Chow Xiao had no choice but to helplessly let his body hit the mountain wall. Chow Xiao didn't understand a single word of Director Fong's words, but he couldn't refute it. His consciousness was gradually blurring, and more blood was flowing out of his body. Chow Xiao, you have to hold on. Hurry and wake up. Don't fall asleep. Think of a way to escape. Kong Ming and Kong Xiaoming in the bracelet were worried to death. Chow Xiao heard the two of them talking in her blurred consciousness. He also knew that he had to save himself at this time. Director Fong, who was like a madman, would never forgive him. Offense is the best defense. The next time he was thrown into the mountain wall like a discus, Chow Xiao suddenly twisted and turned, and his whole body hit Director Fong. Director Fong didn't dodge in time, and was hit directly. He fell to the ground, and rolled along the mountain wall several times, until a large stone blocked him. And because Director Fong let go of Chow Xiao, the rope on his body was untied. Director Fong stood up. Chow Xiao, you still have strength. Chow Xiao couldn't speak, so he simply released all the magic in his body, and rushed towards Director Fong. Before Director Fong could stand firm, he grabbed his neck, and then punched his face like iron. How does it feel to be hit by an iron plate? Chow Xiao's magic was no joke. Director Fong's face was instantly beaten out of shape, and several of his teeth fell out. Both of his eyes were visibly swollen and bruised. The two of them quickly tangled with each other. Director Fong Zixuan and Chow Xiao's magic quickly collided. The sky fell and the earth cracked, and a large amount of gravel was splashed out. Director Fong's fists carried wind, while Chow Xiao's magic carried iron. The iron wrapped around the wind, and the wind wrapped around the iron. The wind invaded Chow Xiao's meridians, making him feel uncomfortable. The iron wrapped around the wind directly smashed into Director Fong's bones, and the sound of bones breaking could be heard. The two of them fought fiercely. But after all, Chow Xiao had been seriously injured, and although Director Fong was strong, he couldn't take it after being beaten by Chow Xiao for so long. After the two of them fought for a while, they were so tired that they fell to the ground and couldn't get up. And at that moment, there was a sudden clanging sound from the side. Chow Xiao remembered that at 12 o'clock, the Empress had sent people out to patrol. But at that moment, he no longer had the strength to escape. After he killed that little goblin yesterday, he avoided the risk of being caught. But today he was at his wits' end. He was so tired that he couldn't lift a finger. Director Fong also heard this strange sound, but he didn't know what it was. Like Chow Xiao, he lay on the ground and couldn't move, but he still vigilantly observed his surroundings. The sound was a bit close, and gradually lingered around the two of them, and the clanging sound didn't stop. And following that, a gust of demonic wind circled above the two of them, observing, unwilling to leave for a long time. Slowly, this demonic wind blew stronger and stronger, as if it had called in more demonic winds to surround the two of them. The surrounding branches and leaves seemed to have received an order, and twisted into a rope. It slowly crawled towards the two of them from the ground, and a vine had already wrapped around Chow Xiao's foot. Chapter 104. Gradually, the second and third vines crawled up from the ground and were about to wrap around their bodies. At this time, their survival instincts soared. The two of them no longer cared about fighting each other. They had to solve their own danger first. The two of them separately used magic to cut off the vines that wrapped around their bodies. 1, 2, 3. But when hundreds of vines rushed towards the two of them, they could no longer resist. The only thing they could do was to escape this place. Director Fong originally wanted to stand up from the ground and run out, but before he could take a step, one of his feet was entangled and he was pulled down. He cut off the vine and simply rolled down the mountain. Immediately, hundreds of vines followed him down the mountain. Chow Xiao's situation was even worse. At this time, he happened to be stuck next to a big rock. He couldn't run down the mountain. He could only continue to run around the rock to where there were no vines. The vines behind him were like hands, desperately trying to grab his back. Chow Xiao used his magic to the extreme, forming a sharp magic blade on his back. He didn't need to turn back and reach out his hand. The vines would automatically be cut off when they touched the magic blade. But these vines never knew what sacrifice meant. They were duty-bound and sacrificed themselves for righteousness. They didn't hesitate to go through water and tread on fire. Wave after wave of vines chased after him from behind. Xiao Xiao slowly ran halfway up the mountain. He really couldn't run anymore. The original wounds on his body were bleeding even faster. He was already dizzy and didn't know where he was. At this time, Kong Xiaoming suddenly shouted, "Xiao Xiao, quickly hide in the tomb." Xiao Xiao looked up. In front of him was the semicircular switch that he had used to enter the tomb that night. He turned back to look at the approaching vines. Without any hesitation, he didn't even bother to grab a leaf to cushion his hand. He twisted it, and the door opened. He quickly fell in. The vines seemed to have seen a forbidden area and didn't dare to move forward. Tonight's night seemed to be longer than usual. Time was like a big hand, desperately pulling back the hands of the clock. But no matter how hard time worked, the sun would always rise and the darkness would eventually recede. Daniel's grandfather usually woke up very early. The first thing he did when he got up was to head to East Mountain. According to him, they had to pay respects to the Empress every morning. Only then would the Empress protect their family's safety. Today, as usual, he passed through the weeds and was about to kneel down and kowtow to Empress Mountain. Just as he kowtowed, he looked up and subconsciously looked forward. A black object appeared 100 meters in front of him. It had never appeared before. Danyo's grandfather was shocked. He rubbed his eyes and walked closer to take a look. It turned out to be a person. Because he was wearing black clothes, his entire body was covered in blood and mud. From afar, he looked like a black mound. He was already unconscious. He didn't recognize who it was and hurriedly went back to call the village chief. When village chief heard this, he knelt down in front of Empress Mountain with a thud. Empress Mountain had manifested again. Empress Mountain had manifested again. He asked Daniel's grandfather nervously, "Is he dead? Is he still breathing?" Daniel's grandfather was stunned. "I didn't notice. I didn't dare to touch him either. His whole body was covered in blood. I almost fainted from fright." "Quick, quick. Get 2 people to carry him back," village chief ordered. He quickly arranged for a car to be sent to the hospital. If someone was injured, they had to be sent to the hospital. They couldn't let him die in their village. It was too unlucky. Just like that, when they carried him back to the village, everyone came to take a look when they heard the news. Someone then realized, isn't that Director Fong? Yes, it's Director Fong who came to help the poor yesterday. This morning, Director Fong and Xiao Xiao weren't in the room. I was wondering where they went. Shin Ho had also realized that they weren't around in the morning. He hurriedly rushed out of the house. He didn't expect Director Fong to be here. "Where's Xiao Xiao? Where did Xiao Xiao go? Did anyone see Xiao Xiao?" Shin Ho asked anxiously. When Daniel heard that his benefactor had disappeared, he also became anxious. He grabbed his grandfather and asked, "Where did Brother Qiao go? Did you see Brother Qiao?" "I really didn't notice. I rushed back as soon as I saw him. Could it be that there's another one nearby? Then quickly send people up the mountain to look for him." So the village chief arranged for 2 groups of people. One group of people hurriedly sent Director Fong to the city on a handcart. The other group of people went up the mountain to continue looking for Xiao Xiao. The group of people who went up the mountain to look for Xiao Xiao saw that the trees and weeds on Dongshan Mountain were messed up. It was as if there had been a fierce battle. But after searching the entire mountain, they couldn't find Xiao Xiao. They didn't even see a corner of his clothes. Daniel followed them up. At this moment, he was crying. He couldn't believe that his benefactor, Brother Qiao, had just saved him 2 days ago. How could he suddenly disappear today? Is it really the goddess's spirit? Don't tell me you've captured Brother Qiao? Danyo asked his grandfather foolishly. Legend has it that the goddess likes handsome men. Your brother Chow is so handsome. It's possible that he wasn't captured by her. Then can we beg the goddess to release Brother Chow? I don't want Brother Chow to die. Daniel was already crying. Keep looking. I don't believe Chow Zhao's fate is so bad. Shinho walked past Daniel and pulled him away. They continued to search for an entire day, but they still didn't find anything. It was as if Chow Zhao had disappeared from the entire mountain valley. He had disappeared from the face of the earth. With such a big thing happening to the poverty alleviation program, no one was in the mood to help the poor anymore. After all, the things that needed to be sent had been delivered and the photos that needed to be taken had been taken. These people all followed Director Fong back to the city. Only Shin Ho took the initiative to stay. I will find Chow Zhao. I will definitely bring him back. Miss Zhang patted Shin Ho's shoulder and said to him, "Good child, but you have to be mentally prepared. Look at how injured Director Fong is. They all say that the goddess's spirit has appeared, but I'm guessing that there's some kind of wild beast on the mountain? No, I don't believe that such a good person like Chow Zhao would be so unlucky." After spending a few days together, Shin Ho was deeply attracted to Chow Zhao. I believe that he's only temporarily trapped there. He needs our help right now. I won't abandon him. Miss Zhang didn't say anything else. She patted his shoulder and said, "You have to take care of yourself. If you really can't find him, then come back." After sending off the group, Shin Ho brought Daniel and a few other villagers to continue their search on the mountain. The entire village was filled with a sorrowful atmosphere. Chow Zhao, who had been alive and kicking in front of them 2 days ago, had disappeared in the blink of an eye. The goddess's spirit has appeared. This was what they agreed on. Chow Zhao had been taken away by the goddess. A few of the villagers had nothing to do, so they spread this saying. Chow Zhao was really too handsome. Even the goddess didn't let him go. After waiting for 2 days, she finally couldn't take it anymore and directly took Brother Chow Zhao into her tomb. Can that Chow Zhao still be alive after entering her tomb? How can he be alive? He's probably scared to death. The goddess has also taken people before. Have you seen anyone being released? It's such a pity. Such a good-looking child. The goddess must have committed a sin. You can't speak ill of the goddess. We're her tomb keepers. If there's anything good, we have to sacrifice it to her. It's just that this child has suffered. Sigh. This is also something we can't decide. Daniel's grandfather was the most upset. He even saved our family's Daniel. Why is his life so bitter? Who are you talking about? Whose life is miserable? A clear and cold female voice came from behind the old men. The elders turned around and saw an incomparably beautiful girl standing behind them. Her expression was solemn and incomparably cold. The words she spoke were even more bone-chilling than the cold wind. When did this girl come to the village? Daniel's grandfather was stunned. He asked, "Who are you?" "I'm looking for someone. 2 days ago, the people who came to help the poor. Where do they live?" "I'm their friend." The cold female voice sounded again. "Who are you looking for?" "They've already gone back." Yenran raised an eyebrow. "Why did they go back so early? Have they finished helping the poor?" Yenron's aura was very strong. "Ah, no. Something happened to them, so they went back early." Daniel's grandfather was like a criminal being interrogated in front of this girl. He couldn't help but answer all of her questions. What happened to them? Who's in trouble? Yenran stared into Daniel's grandfather's eyes. One of them is missing. One of them is seriously injured, so they went back early. Who's seriously injured? Who's missing? Yenran pressed on. That Director Fong is injured. Chow Zhao is missing. Dalu's grandfather couldn't help but blurt out everything. Yenron's heart was in turmoil. As expected, Director Fong made his move again. Where do they live? Take me there. Yenran ordered. Daniel's grandfather stood up when he heard Yenron's order. He consciously led the way. He didn't know why he was so obedient, but Yen Ran had an aura that made people submit to her. On the way, Daniel's grandfather couldn't help but ask his own question. Miss, are you a police officer? No, I'm Xiao Zhao's classmate. Then why are you here? I'm here to look for Xiao Xiao. Danyo's grandfather looked at Yen Ran with an expressionless face. He couldn't help but remind her, Miss, you have to calm down. We have been the mausoleum keepers of the Empress for generations. Xiao Xiao was too handsome, so he was captured by the Empress. You have to be mentally prepared. Xiao Zhao's disappearance might not be found. Yen Ran looked up when she heard this. Her bone-chilling gaze seemed to pierce Daniel's grandfather's heart. Daniel's grandfather's heart trembled. Miss, don't be angry. Xiao Xiao is really a good person. When he first came to our village, my grandson fell into the well. He jumped into the well without a care for his own safety and saved him. It was so cold that the well water almost froze. When he was saved, I saw that his lips were purple from the cold. He's our savior. I really hope that he's fine. But this place is cursed. For generations, the mausoleum keepers have not dared to leave this place because we have to serve this empress. Something similar had happened before. The person had mysteriously disappeared. Later on, they said that the empress had appeared and captured the person. Yen Ran didn't say anything. She just silently followed Daniel's grandfather. Daniel's grandfather didn't dare to say anything when he saw that Yen Ran didn't respond. They hurried to the door of the house where they lived. They happened to meet Shin Ho and Daniel, who had returned from their search. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.